apartment 5B.
You're now tuned into the Apartment 5B podcast, where we chop it up about hip-hop, R&B, sports, love and life. Hosted by Kill.
What's good? You are tuned in to Apartment 5B podcast hosted by your man Kill. I got my squad in effect with me today. I got my brother Vern out the ATL. What's going on, good brother?
What's going on, everybody? Glad to be here, man.
No doubt. Tone from Into the Dome out of UNC. What's going on, brother?
Good, man. Good to see you guys. Man. No doubt.
All right, we got my man Gadget out the DMV, Philadelphia. Nice 76 is fitted right there, good brother.
What up? Happy to be here.
No doubt. Y'all know me. Let's get right into it. This whole show started because of Gadget. This all started because, so blame him for everything under the sun. You know what I mean? I'm gonna do this how they used to do back in the old days when they be like, yo, the views expressed on this show are not the opinions of this entire network. Because what happens is somebody says they don't like something on Apartment 5B, they getting at me like, Kill, you said the views are not this. So let's get right into it. Gadget said my man Mental out of Philly got at me, and Gadget was like, first Kill likes cheese whiz on his cheesesteaks, and then Gadget don't like the Roots because we're both from Philly. I want to go out on a limb and say again, like I said a couple of weeks ago, nigga, every cheesesteak spot in Philly has cheese whiz. So it ain't just me. I'm not the only person who likes cheese whiz.
For the tourists.
Said, what'd you say?
For the tourists.
Bruh, don't know, ain't no tourists coming to Pagano.
They're not wasting a good provolone on the
Ain't no tourists coming to 79th and Old Guys. Ain't no tourists going down Broaden area to Max's. So that stuff will be down South Street. Cheese whiz is everywhere. So let's deflate that theory right there that I'm the only person. Gad said he doesn't like the Roots. Mental was like, yo, what the hell's up with you two Philly niggas? Y'all ain't from Philly. You don't like the Roots and you like cheese whiz. So we started talking about legends who we don't like their stuff. Like, we're not fans of them. You know what I mean? Then while I'm doing the research for this show, I came across a couple of MCs that I feel like people say they're legends that I personally don't believe that they're legends. So we're going to be looking at a couple of things today. We was talking offline about this. And the dope thing about this episode is, prayerfully, people watching this, I want y'all to sit back and listen. Listen first, speak second. Because I really want, because people are going to get mad at some of these names that we put out there, but I just want you to understand, number one, these are our opinions. These are our definitions of what we feel legends are. What I feel is a legend may not be what Eddie feels is a legend, may not be what Vern. So just keep this in mind. And then what we're also trying to show for a lot of young bulls is that everybody wants to be a legend now. You put out 2 albums, and here's the difference. Not only are the fans saying they're a legend, but the artists themselves are saying they're a legend. You know what I mean? I don't remember being in 91 and Q-Tip coming out on Low End Theory on his second album talking about I'm a legend. You know what I mean? We just didn't have that in our days, and nobody christened him a legend after 2 albums. And People's Instinctives and Low End are 2 incredibly big and dope albums. Yeah. And we weren't saying that. So I think it's just a buzzword now that when somebody does something dope, it's like, oh, they a legend. They did this, oh, they a legend. You know, oh, they a legend. It's just like, let's slow down for a minute. Eddie, what's going on, good brother? How you doing today, man?
Yo, I'm good, Kill, man.
All right.
I'm doing pretty good.
All right. We gonna talk about Hollywood too when you took me out to Hollywood, because I got a couple things I want to talk about. All right. So first off, I'm wondering, because we talked about the words that we're using, and I'm wondering if we're using these words wrong. I've been married 21 years and 2 months. Been doing marriage counseling for other people for 13 years. One thing I've learned in life is people have different definitions for the same word. So what happens a lot of times in marriages, somebody says, you know, the husband says, hey, I want to be intimate. For a husband, that may mean, yo, we about to put in this work. For the wife, that may mean, I just want to cuddle with you, talk with you, let's share our deepest, darkest secrets. So what happens is, again, both people are frustrated when they realize, oh, I thought I was getting something tonight and you just want to talk. The wife is salty because she wants to talk and you just trying to get with her and all those things. So I always say people have two different definitions for the same word. So we're talking about legends today. Now, here's the funny thing. I looked up the word legend, and the definition is just a very famous person admired by a lot of people. Now, that's not how I use the word legend. I don't think that's how most people, when we're talking about hip hop, that we use the word legend. So I said, okay, maybe it's not legend. Are we trying to, should the word icon be used? An icon is just the person who is very successful and admired. Then I started looking at synonyms of legend, and I came up with celebrity, star, superstar, great, celeb, megastar. Now, again, I don't think any of those definitions of legends or none of the synonyms or any of the things that I think that we discuss in our hip hop, you know, discussions. Am I right, Gadget? Do you agree? Like,
I agree.
Tone, everybody agree?
Absolutely.
All right. So,
yep.
Yeah, so I don't know. So then what made me start thinking is, me and Vern, being basketball lovers, we're always talking about the Hall of Fame. And that every basketball player that plays cannot get in the Hall of Fame. It doesn't make it special anymore. It's only special as like the honor roll.
Yep.
Like, I'll give you a great example. Nate tested into this program out here at North Point. Nate's been an all-A student since first grade. So I'm like, okay, she's definitely getting in. And then they were like, oh, well, you know what? We gonna let some people in who may not be honor students. And I'm like, nah, fuck that. Like, nah. Like, if this the honor program, like, yo, like, she's put in all this work all these years. I don't want no CD student coming in before her and she got all A's. Like, how is that fair? So that's how we look at the Hall of Fame. Vern, I was watching an old throwback game with the Knicks and the Pacers back in '93. Rick Smits. Forgot about Rick Smits. Rick Smits was a bad boy. Rick Smits could hoop, y'all. He's not a Hall of Famer.
Yep. He's not.
You know what I mean?
No.
Great
He was a great six man, but not Hall of Famer.
Yeah, but he's not a Hall of Famer, and there should not be anything wrong with saying that.
No, he was good.
Yeah, he was good. He was there. I mean, he going up against Patrick Ewing and give it.
It ain't.
What you saying, bro?
It's a sports talk guy in Atlanta, Chris Domino, shout out. He said it ain't the hall of very good.
Yeah, I mean, but I think that's the problem. And again, I'm not just always, because people always talking about, I'm just talking about young folk. I talk about old folk too. Young folk, again, we came up in a generation where in Philly, I don't know about nowhere else, you got a trophy for first place, a ribbon for second and third place, and if you didn't come in fourth or worse, nigga, you ain't get nothing. But a look by your father, like, nigga, do better next time. That's it. Everybody did not go home with a trophy. So nowadays, everybody goes home with a trophy. So I can't really be mad at the younger generation for thinking, well, everybody who rhymes is a legend, because that's how they were raised. They were raised where if you just participate, you get a trophy from the door. Just participate. You could come in 97th place, nigga, you still get a trophy. And that's not how we were raised. Like that. And to me, that's what made people want to get even better, because you wanted the trophy. So it made you say, okay, let me work even harder to get that trophy. So I think that's a lot of our work ethic for this younger generation isn't there anymore, because they don't, if you just want a trophy, you got it. You got it barely doing no work just because you signed up to be in the spelling bee. You know what I mean? So, all right, cool. I've been talking too long. Gadget, tell me this. Give me somebody who you think is a legend, and give me 3 things that you believe makes them a legend, or why you think that person is a legend.
Okay, so my criteria for legend is only 2 things.
Okay.
Discography and impact.
Okay.
Discography, impact, i.e., change the landscape of music, what have you. Rakim.
Okay.
Rakim is a legend to me.
All right.
He has the discography, and he changed the way people rapped.
Mm-hmm.
Like people were like 4-bar rappers at the time. Rakim came out and he's you know 4 bar, 3 bars skips. I don't understand how he does it, but he changed the landscape. He ushered in the Nas's, the J's, like to me, especially Nas, like with more intricate rap. I think Rakim ushered that in.
All right, no doubt. So, what are your criteria for what a legend is?
Again, catalog, influence, skills, and longevity. So I would use KRS-One. I don't think too many people would fight me on KRS-One. He has a legendary discography with his solo work and with Boogie Down Productions. Monumental albums like Criminal Minded, by all means, Return of the Boom Bap. I mean, come on, man. Edutainment, whatever. Influence, I mean, he's one of the biggest rappers of the golden era. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people after him, your Commons, the Mos Def, the Talib Kweli's, all of them have cited KRS-One as one of the people who influenced them. So they go to M-Flat and influence right there. I even add in, live on stage, legendary. He performed in 1987, performed in 2021. Crowd still get the same energy damn 30 plus years later. You know what I'm saying? Skills goes without saying. KRS mastered so many different styles. So that's a legend to me.
All right, no doubt. Eddie, what about you, bro? You muted, bro.
Oh, sorry about that. So for me, it would be, a lot of what Gadget and Tony was saying, influence, impact, longevity in certain cases, and discography as well. And I say in certain cases because, someone like Biggie, I feel like his influence and impact were strong enough that they get him there. And he didn't lack the longevity because of, he fell off. He lacked the longevity because, his untimely death. So I think that gets him there. And, for him to have that level of impact in such a short period of time, I think, makes it even more, you know what I mean? So.
All right, no doubt. And Vern, what you got?
All right, so it's basically the same criteria that everybody said, but I'm going to be adamant about this fact of it. Your music has to be great because we got a lot of people who are considered legends. You're a great businessman, but I ain't put your CD on to listen to your business acumen. I put your CD on because I want to hear great music. So legends to me, your Chuck D's, your LL Cool J's, longevity, style, and their music, their discography, as Gadget said. So those are people that I would consider legends.
All right, no doubt. I'm like Gadget. I was looking at Rakim. From the door, it's just simple to me. I just need you to be nice as hell. Like I don't need you to just be a very good rapper. I need you to be damn near everything out your mouth is 4.5 or better. Like you are constantly like your spit game is crazy. And for me, I want you to be well-rounded. You know what I mean? I just don't want somebody like a Godsham guy who got the best, handles or the best crossover. I don't want somebody who's just a great dunker and different things. I want to me, any coach wants a player who they know what they're going to get from day in and day out. Like, I think that's probably the most frustrating thing for a coach to have a player drop 31 game and then turn around next game and drop 15. It's like you're inconsistent. I need you to be consistent in that your bar game, even if your beat game, even if you're not the dopest at picking beats, but that your bar game is always high. Like Gadget said, change the climate of hip hop. And for me, that can be like what we were saying about Rakim with the rhyme styles. I always want to shout out KRS too. I feel like KRS was right there with Rakim doing that. So like Tone said with KRS, even if you're putting out your own style, like you got your own style, but all these things for me, like, go together. Because somebody may say, oh, well, if all you need is your own style, and Smooth the Hustler is a legend because he had his own style. Nah, it has to be all of these things together for me. Somebody like who's behind Vern, Outkast. To me, they changed the outlook of hip hop because they put on Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? You know, Wu, a part of Wu, to me, what makes them so legendary is that they took Staten Island, who nobody had ever spoken about for the history of hip hop, and made it someplace where people wanted to go. When they opened the Wu Wear store in Staten Island back in the 90s, I remember niggas being like, no, I'm going to Staten Island. Like, you know, something like that. With Griselda's doing with Buffalo. 5-6 years ago, you didn't hear nothing about upstate New York. Now every damn rapper I hear from is from Buffalo, upstate New York. Longevity and discography, and then to me has their own style. They're not biting nobody else's style. They're doing their own thing. So that's a legend to me. All right, Gadget, you started this shit with you not liking the Roots.
Yes.
Why now? And this is the part of legends who we don't necessarily like. So Gadget, why is it that you don't rock with the Roots?
All right. First, they call themselves the legendary Roots Crew. I don't think they're legendary. They have the discography. I just don't like their music. I don't know. I am not a Roots fan at all. But they weren't my first choice though. But go ahead.
All right, my bad. You know what? I apologize, good brother. You go. Well, that's just for everybody watching. That's what set this off. And And the funny thing is, Gage, listening to you, I'm not fucking mad at that, bro. I'm not mad at that because I'm wondering what. And this is gonna be a good discussion show because I want everybody to chime in and kind of chop it up about all these things because again, you know, I hate the whole Royce line, check all the boxes, but that's why I wanted everybody to kind of have their list of, and so when we're doing this, we can kind of look at the Roots. I'm with you, the legendary Roots Crew. What are they legendary for? Anytime, I mean, I'm literally asking the question. Like,
I think
what are they legendary for?
I think if unless I'm mistaken, I think.
Hold on for a second, Eddie. I apologize. Let me stop for 1 second. Everybody, this is not a shot at the Roots. Okay, this is not a shot. This again, it goes back to what I said in the beginning. I've learned make your thesis statement. Everybody, just because I don't think you're a legend doesn't mean I don't like you. It doesn't mean I don't think you're dope. It doesn't. So I just want people to understand that just because anybody up here, myself, you know, I'm speaking for myself. If I say you're not a legend, if I say this on Twitter, then it's automatically, oh, you don't fuck with the Roots, they trash. If anybody has tuned into Apartment 5B, I own every Roots CD. All 5 covers of Things Fall Apart. I support them even when I don't like they shit, just because I understand what they did for my city. They opened the doors for Philadelphia to get on music-wise, from hip-hop to soul to, I mean, all the musicians that have been, you know, gifted jobs through Amir and Thought and all of that. So this is not a shot. I don't want people feeling like, damn, Kill, you taking shots at all these people. They're not shots. Just because you feel somebody does not belong in the Hall of Fame doesn't mean they're not an excellent fill-in-the-blank basketball player, football player, singer, dancer, rapper, whatever. It just means for us, they're not legends. I apologize. I just had to put that thesis statement out there.
Yeah. So I always thought it had something to do with their live performances, like how they got that moniker, legendary for their live performances, and you know, maybe incorporating that, the full band with the hip hop thing. You know, I don't think that when they got that moniker, I don't think they were hip hop legends at that point, like to our definition that we all stated. You know what I mean? I think it was just for their live performances. So.
And Eddie, like I get that, but I'm in DC, home of Go-Go. We see live bands every night. We see live bands 7 days a week that people think are better than the Roots.
But you know what?
I get that. I mean, like I said, I'm just stating based on like what I think, because obviously right. I wasn't around saying that. You know, I'm just trying to speculate on how they got that moniker.
They gave themselves that
whether
moniker.
I agree.
they gave it to themselves, bro.
You ever hear anybody else calls them the legendary Roots?
That's a good thing. And that's one of the things I tell. That's one of the things I tell niggas on Twitter. Y'all make up y'all titles. I let people give me my titles. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got cats who 22 years old talking about hip hop historian. Nigga, you 22. Like, you a historian of what? The 2010s? Like, you know, I'm sorry, Tone, what you gonna say?
No, I agree with Eddie in terms of like the live part, the band part, because there was bands before them. I know Sonics and other people were bands, but not in bands in the traditional sense of the Roots. They function like a real band, like a rock band or a Motown band, and they really like outstaying. A lot of people started doing live shows with live bands. Even at Jay-Z Unplugged, which was monumental at the height of his career, he did the Roots. After that, a lot of Common, all these other MCs started doing shows with live bands, and I think that the Roots had a lot to do with that after that Jay-Z Unplugged. So on that end, I would say monumental. And then you have the discography. You have Do You Want More, Ill-Death Half-Life, Things Fall Apart, you know, Got Me Get a Grammy, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. So they have the work ethic, all the touring. That's a lot, you know what I'm saying? So they do have some table that you can debate if they're legendary or not in hip hop. Now they're on Jimmy Kimmel.
So I can blame the Roots for all the terrible. Like, I don't want to hear MOP over a band. I want a DJ, bro. I don't want to hear Common over a band. I need the instrumentals. Play the instrumentals. Like, I don't want to hear Nas over a band or a symphony orchestra. No.
You know what I think it is too? I think Tone, you made a great point, but I adhere that to Jay-Z more than the Roots. You know what I'm saying? It was like, oh, Jay-Z got a live band? Okay, now let's go get a live band. Because it's not, the Roots have been performing like that for years. So it's not like people were watching them and said, oh, okay, right, we got to get a live backing band. It was just niggas following Jay-Z. Jay-Z could have...
They wasn't dope. Was Jay-Z wouldn't have put his trust in the Roots to do an unplug like that. So I mean,
I agree with you. I just can't give that to the Roots. You know what I mean? And again, for me personally, I rocked with, you know, the first three. After that, they've kind of been dead in the water with me. Discographies. I got a mixtape called Those Other Albums because I think all the albums that came after Things Fall Apart had good songs on them. I just don't think that they're incredible, legendary albums for me again. So, you know,
we're incorporating the Roots plus how fans view Black Thought as an MC. You know what I'm saying?
We gotta talk about Thought.
No.
I'm just dealing with Roots to Roots right now.
Dad didn't want to separate that. Okay, we'll come back to that.
Yeah, I'm just talking about the Roots. And again, this is no knock on them, but I think Vern, somebody said it where it was just like, it's the cool thing to say you like the Roots. It's just the cool thing to say that you like them. You know what I mean? I remember when every time like Undone came out and then You Shoot Your Cousin came out, it would be like all these celebs would be like, oh my God, another great Roots album. Amir, you did it. And I don't think people really understand that all of this is just really, this whole business is about kissing ass. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's what this whole business is about. At this point in time, Questlove is like the gatekeeper for everything. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Want to do a music documentary, go to Quest. Want to do a book, go to Quest. Want to do this, go to Quest. It's like with Jay-Z. Nobody wants to say on camera anything bad about Jay because they still want to do business with Jay. You know what I'm saying? If would you say?
A lot of politics.
Yeah, it's a lot of politics. So it's just, again, I just think it's the cool thing to say that, yo, we like the Roots. I felt like it was the cool thing. This happened back when Low End Theory in like 92, 93-ish. It was the cool thing to be a hip hop head and say, hey, I like jazz. Hey, I got a jazz record on. Or hey, look, I'm listening to Coltrane, everybody. Like, look at me, I'm cool. Like, and then by the time 95 came out, there wasn't nigga talking nothing about no Coltrane, no Miles Davis, going to no live jazz club. Hip hop just has these pockets where I think it's just the cool thing to say. And so again, this is no knock on the Roots. Yeah. I love them. I have supported them. I have. Right. Would you say?
Yeah, as far as the Roots and like those later albums, I feel like they tapped into a completely different crowd, and it's evident by who is their features. You know, they had features. They had like indie bands and artists and like other than hip hop. You know what I mean? Like all these like singers I never heard of and stuff like that. So they had started tapping into a whole different audience, which is why you know, those albums were so highly touted by a certain section of the fan base, and we're over here like, I don't get it.
I agree with that too, because I'm just like, I just want Illadelph. I just want drum machines. I want Things Fall Apart, and I just wasn't getting that, you know, further on down the line. Again, did those albums have good songs on them? Yeah, I love The Seed. I love Star. Like, I can sit here and name you How I Got Over is one of my favorite Root songs ever. I didn't enjoy the whole album though, so that's all I'm saying. So to me, I'm with you, Gage. I think it's funny. My man Jace just hit me like, "Yo, the Roots gonna be down at the Hippodrome up in Baltimore. You want to go?" And I was like, "Nah, I'm good." Number one is COVID. I'm not going to see nobody, but you know, I damn sure ain't trying to catch COVID for the Roots of all people. But
Right.
and even if it wasn't COVID, I'm like, "Nah, I'm good." The only way I want to go see the Roots now is if they're doing one of those. I forgot those tours that people were doing back in the day when they just did the album. It'd be like Snoop is just doing Doggy Style, Smoking Grooves. I forgot what the name of it was. But if it was like, yo, the Roots are doing all of Illadelph Half-Life, I'm there.
That's what I did.
Doing all the Things Fall Apart, I'm there. If they doing
I
bits
did
and
the
pieces,
Things Fall Apart anniversary show. That's what I did, and that was dope.
So,
but other than that,
right,
I kind of with you.
Right. So that's the Roots. Gage, give me somebody who people say is a legend that you don't agree with that title.
I'm gonna hurt a lot of battle rap fans. Supernatural. Like, people.
People say he's a legend.
Yes.
Oh.
I have never heard a Supernatural album. I mean, maybe I missed it. I have never heard Supernatural rap other than acapella. Maybe I'm missing something. He definitely doesn't have the discography. He might impact as far as rapping, maybe. But I can't give him a legend title.
He a legendary battle rapper or a legendary figure in hip hop?
People just say legend.
And I think so. And that's a great point, because I think this goes back to the ep of Apartment 5B we did about wrestling belts. You know, where it's like, if you tell me, think about this. How many incredible wrestlers that we grew up on in the 80s, but they never held the world championship belt? Hundreds. Some of my favorite wrestlers never held that belt. And I feel like that belt is kind of like representative of the GOAT argument, which is why we did that episode, because there's so many MCs who never get named because they don't. There's only 10 spots in most people, well, not most people, in people's top 10 GOAT lists. There's only 10 slots. And there's literally over 500 rappers. So everybody is not going to fit in that GOAT spot. That's why I always looked at wrestling, because you had the Intercontinental title, you had the TV title, you had this title, you had that title, so other people could live. If somebody said Supernatural is a legendary freestyler, I'm not mad at that. I could live with that if he's a legendary freestyler. But if you're just saying he's a legend in hip hop all the way around, I don't get that. I think freestyle rappers, especially in the early 90s, remind me a lot of and one ball players. You know, they're great on this arena, but they don't translate well into that arena. So they're great in this freestyle, and they're great with, you know, talking about everything in the room, and it's amazing. But then it doesn't translate when it comes time to make it out. You know,
Kill. Great point.
Yes, sir.
I want to bounce off that point, because you talk about and one ballers, right? We don't have an NBA Hall of Fame. We have a basketball Hall of Fame. Is there any and one ballers who have made the basketball Hall of Fame?
No,
because I ain't heard of it.
No. And I mean, the thing is that you could be a legendary player in your neighborhood. You could be a Harlem legend. You could be a Philly legend. You could be a Queens legend. You can be a legend in certain places. But when you just say, hey, this person is a legend, then to me, that's like saying you're a hip hop, like Tone was saying, you're just an all around hip hop legend. So again, freestyling, if you say Supernatural, you know, is a freestyle legend, I'm not mad at that. You know, give the boy that. But it's hard to be a legend, and like Gadget said, I don't think he ever had an album. Same thing with Mad Skills. People don't remember Mad Skills used to be the freestyle. He was right there with Supernatural. Like, their names were synonymous with each other. You know, again, Mad Skills is more known for his year wrap-ups than anything else. And Mad Skillz has had about 4 or 5 different albums out. Mad Skillz had that first album with Tip production, Dilla production, and Extra P production. That wasn't a great album to me either. So again, I just think if somebody says Supernatural freestyle legend, I'm not mad at that. But he definitely doesn't check any of the boxes I think any of us have named to be a legend.
So
I'm sorry, Gadget. Let me get Tone real quick because Tone had a thought. What you gonna say, Tone?
Yeah, just like we said about freestyle legend, all 3 things down earlier. You got your, and this is just my opinion. You got your local legend, your regional legend, and your certified hip hop legend. You know what I'm saying? Like certified hip hop legend to me, like it crossed all boundaries of like coast to coast, global. I mean, Tupac is a hip hop legend. Like him or not, we know that. You can argue if you want to, but globally, whether it's because he died a certain way, whatever, he's a hip hop legend because it doesn't matter if East, West, Paris, Yugoslavia. Doesn't really matter. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, some people look at local legends like a regional legend or a regional legend like a certified hip hop legend. That can be all debatable as well. And I know we'll get into that, but that was just a thought I had earlier that I jotted down.
Yeah, great point. What were you gonna say, Gash?
I was gonna say, Pee Wee Kirkland was nominated for the American Basketball Hall of Fame this year. Not the NBA, but American. I don't know.
What is that?
There is no NBA Hall of Fame. That's the point. There's only a Basketball Hall of Fame. So
but he didn't even
the
get nominated
Basketball
for
Hall
that.
of Fame.
Isn't it called the NBA Hall of Fame?
No,
No.
it's the Naismith.
People go
It
to
could be
college.
college
People go
players,
to
it could be
college.
European players, it could be anything.
International,
He didn't get nominated for that. He got nominated for another Basketball Hall of Fame.
American Basketball Hall of Fame.
Which the problem is I can't be mad at because I don't think Pee Wee, I don't think he ever played in the NBA because the legend has it that the Chicago Bulls were going to sign him, but he was making more money in the streets than he was going to make in the league. You know, so again, Pee Wee, you know, like Pusha said, legend in 2 games like I'm Pee Wee Kirkland. Like he's a legend in New York, he's a legend in Harlem, he's a playground legend. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, you know, there's a rack of playground legends, you know, Earl Manigault, you know, Fly Williams, you know, Ed Booger Smith out of Soul in the Hole in Brooklyn, you know, we could go on and on, but that's where, because you didn't get to the NBA, that's where you stay a playground legend, you know what I mean? So that's how I got it. All right, so you had Supernatural. Tone, give me an MC who is a legend that you don't like their music, and then give me somebody who people say is a legend that don't check all the boxes for you.
Oh man, it hurts my heart to say this, man. So the legend who I don't really rock with is Kool Moe Dee, and Kool Moe Dee, of course, is part of the first like wave of guys with Melle Mel and Cass, who the first like lyrical guys who influenced Rakim and KRS. I mean, everybody know that. So most people is one of the goats of the game, but you know, because of his style, he was technically gifted, but because of his style was so old school, he couldn't transition into the golden era and then to the early 90s. So he's one of those legends where, unlike KRS and Rakim and G-Rap or whoever, I ride to them in the car. I don't have knowledge of whatever in the car. I don't have no Moe Dee in my car. I don't own any Kool Moe Dee albums, but I recognize his position in the culture. You know what I'm saying? But never I like Wild Wild West and the joint when he got it.
Right.
Yeah. How You Like Me Now was dope and 2 or 3 other tracks, man, but he just didn't transition to me. So he got first in like 85 to me, and that's where I kind of left. You know what I'm saying? So
let me say this about Moe Dee real quick because I don't even know if I give him enough respect for this. Because Moe Dee is one of the few people who came out of that 78, 79 era of the Treacherous 3 and still was able to survive until 88, 89, because Moe Dee was on self-destruction, which is 88, 89. You know, so I agree with you wholeheartedly, but like I said, I'm even checking myself on this one because I'm just thinking like, yo, this boy was rapping since 79 to 89. That's a nice run, you know, and there's nobody else out of that era of the Treacherous 3, Funky 4 plus one more, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5. None of them even got past 84, 85. You know what I mean? So you're right. He couldn't hang to go into another era, but between the Treacherous 3 and Mo D kind of hanging around till 89, because you had to be a certain tier of an MC to get invited to Self-Destruction. You know what I mean? If you were on Self-Destruction, you were on a high tier. You know what I mean? At that time. You know what I mean? So
it's one.
What you gonna say, bro?
One person I question that was on that song, and I'll let you think about who that is. But I know why they're on there too.
You know why they on there?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, we all know. But we can talk about that. I can talk about that. Now, who's the person who you think people say is a legend, but they don't check all the boxes for you?
Oh man! So we at some point we're gonna name more. I got about 3 I want to talk about, but I'll give you one right now. And boy, I know they're gonna Big L. Okay, so do I like Big L? Yeah. And he rap? Yeah. So I tell these young guys who learn about hip hop on the internet, who wasn't born in the 90s, was Big L dope before he died? Yes. If people look at him as a legend before he died, hell no. He became a legend on the internet. Now, yeah, we know the DITC, we know the Lifestyles of the Poor Day, which was a decent album, but in 1995, it might have cracked the top 20 at like number 19 20. Go back and look at the albums of 1995. So that's one of the things. The Harlem legend, yes, he probably was the best rapper ever out of Harlem. He's probably a Harlem legend, maybe even a New York legend. But if you ask the average cat in Long Beach, California in 1997, 98, then when he died in 99, was Big L a legend, they'll tell you no. He's a spitter, dope ass spitter, but I don't flack for what on the internet. I love Big L. I bought Lifestyle through the record store in 95. You know what I'm saying? But I don't just give a pass, and I don't use that word so lightly as a legend. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have an impact like a Biggie did. You know what I'm saying? So him, and he also was in the game from 92 to 99. So he had quite a few years to become a legend. It just didn't pop off, and there's no diss on him. He was about to pop off with Rockefeller if he would have survived, but it didn't happen. So it's kind of like, what could have been.
I think my thing with Ellen Wood, I think everybody watching has to understand is that, again, and I'm gonna keep saying this over and over again, just because somebody isn't a legend doesn't mean you're whack, we don't like you can't rhyme, any of those things. So that's one of the first things we have to dismiss, is this premise of, if somebody says they're not a legend, oh, you don't like Big L. That's not what we're saying. But this is this new school math that they teaching these young boys out here. Like, seriously, dead ass. This new math they teaching these kids out here today. Because Naomi be doing math, and me and T be like, that shit don't make no sense. Why would you do all of that when you could just do this? But neither here nor there. That's not what we're saying. Big L was a dope MC when he was out. Here's the thing with me. Big L ain't even the dopest MC in this crew. And I don't hear nobody call OC a legend. I don't hear nobody, you know what I mean? So if you ain't even the dopest MC in your crew, how are you a legend all of a sudden? People like, oh, if he was signed to Rockefeller, he would have done this. Niggas act like, did Bleak do all this? People, if you just signed to Rockefeller, you was gonna be a star. Is Bleak a star? Is Petey a star? Chris and Neef?
Nope. Who
Who else on Rockefeller was a star besides Jay? And I guess Ye. So it ain't like, oh, you just signed Rockefeller and he would have been this and that and other thing. I don't understand why people feel the need to change the narrative on people when they die. You know what I mean? Because here's the thing, niggas don't do that shit in the hood. You know what I mean? If Gadget ain't a good dude and this nigga fucking over everybody in the hood, when Gadget dies, we ain't all gonna change the narrative and be like, man, Gadget was a good dude, man. We love Gadget.
Right.
The way he held it. Nah, you gonna be like, yo, that fuck nigga died. Like, that's just what it is. You know what I mean? You gonna pour out some liquor and keep it moving. So I don't know where we got to this place where it's like, oh, rapper dies equals, again, it's the new math. Rapper dies equals legend. Like, that's the new premise right there. And that's not it. When Nipsey died, I love Nipsey to death. Nipsey's a LA legend. He's a Crenshaw legend. But again, before Nip died and he dropped that joint, he dropped, God, what's the name of that album? My brain, y'all. Nipsey's last
Victory
album.
Lap.
Victory Lap. Now, Victory Lap made my top 5 of whatever year that was. I didn't see Victory Lap on nobody's top 5 until Nipsey died. So again, I just don't understand what in our brains is making people say, you die, you become a legend. Like, why? Why can't it just be like, oh, damn, that's messed up. He died. You know, God bless him and his family, you know, and leave it there. It's just like, but again, like Kid said, you know, dead rappers get better promotion. Vern, what you got for a legend who you don't like, and then a legend that you don't agree with the legend title?
Well, I don't necessarily know if I had those two, but I'm gonna just tell you somebody who's made multiple all-star teams. He has a lot of high-scoring nights, but he's not a legend to me. Is Common.
Oh.
All right. You think about how many duds he's put out.
All right, so let's check off some boxes. Let's check some boxes. So, and this is a good conversation. It's a good conversation.
Nice.
Okay.
Yep.
As far as his skills go, source mic rating, 5 mics.
Very high.
How many mics do you give Common as a rapper?
His skill, and that's kind of an asterisk thing because it depends on what time frame.
What Common are we talking about?
Okay,
I understand.
Right.
So I will talk about Resurrection, which all makes sense. Like Water for Chocolate and B. That's a 4-album run right there. Or maybe even Find It Forever, if I'm being generous.
Yeah.
5 albums.
Yes.
How do you rank those albums? I guess.
And you know, I'm sorry. I'll let Vern talk. I think he was frozen. I thought he stopped.
He's frozen.
Them 5 albums you named fire though. I can't hold you.
Yeah,
all 5 of them.
I think it's one of those things where I don't know where we give rappers a cutoff limit. I don't know how we come up with that. Like where it's just like, okay, like I think KRS has had out like 19 solo albums. You know what I mean? And to me, I know for me, I stopped paying attention after the KRS One self-titled album with how many MCs and not rappers act like they don't know. I think that was that. So, but he's had a rack of albums after that. Vern, you back?
I mean, you agree with you, Rail. He has some fire, but dog, I ain't trying to tell nobody to stop. But what you do?
No,
I
am. Remember, we had that.
we had that conversation. Yeah, it's like, bruh,
this and deceased.
I don't want to see Orlando Magic Shine Kemp. I want to see Rain Man, bro. I want to remember you when you was joking on folks' head, man. I don't know who that guy is. And this dude, like, man, I think I posted this to somebody. I was like, man, how could some? And so this ain't me to bag on Common. Ah, shucks. I froze again.
Yeah. But you good, bro?
So,
you know what? Try logging off and logging back in.
All right.
Logging back in. What you gonna say, Ed?
I was gonna ask, like, you know, because we don't say the same thing about like someone like Big Daddy Kane, who arguably had a shorter run, right? He had those first two albums that everyone talked about, but he's a bona fide legend. I don't think anyone, comes. I mean, people talk about Prince of Darkness being bad, whatever, but people don't say he's not a legend because he had some duds and he didn't have some longevity.
I know for me personally, it's and I don't have these ranked, is that You Change the Climate of Hip Hop. Like that ranks super high up there for me. You know what I mean? And that's something that I don't think Common necessarily did. You know what I mean? I don't think he changed the way MCs were rhyming. So I know I didn't say mine in any particular order, but Changing the Climate of Hip Hop is probably going to be my number one. It's going to be a top 2, top 3 thing in being a legend, just because that's so huge. So Kane changed the climate. I'm also looking at what's the caliber of MCs that are around you when you were out. So the same way that I look at the NBA now as soft, you know what I mean? So whenever somebody says something, I'm like, nigga, if they ain't had these hand checking rules, I would have been dropping 60 a night on mofos out here. You know what I mean? So again, I'm the type that's always like, what era are we talking? Because all those different things. Vern, you back now?
I'm back, and I'm conflicted in myself by the points you're making, but I think I expected more out of him over the long haul, and he let me down in a lot of cases. So that's why I say he made a lot of all-star teams, and he got he got a lot of scoring titles, but I don't know if I'm gonna go as far as legend.
What was his best? What was his best years MVP years? And what I'm saying, I ask him that is because when B came out, the corner and all that, after that, he was in his, he was in the zone with B. But then again, look, when White Water came out, he was very high on the logical list. I remember Talib saying Common was his favorite MC, and he studied Common Sense. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of your underground guys were influenced by Common too. Common come from the underground. You know what I'm saying? Overall. So I mean, good point. Because, how did you, I guess, change the game? Well, if we're gonna use that as a high mark, then your legendary list is gonna be very damn short because a lot of legends change the game.
I don't mean like change the game. Like, I mean, and maybe I said that wrong. Not that it's my number one thing, but it's something that if you don't have something else that can kind of push you forward.
Yeah, I got it.
You know what I mean? So that's my bad. I ain't mean like it's my number one thing, but that's like if you playing Mario Kart, like that's your extra turbo boost or whatever like that can put you over the top, that you change the game. Vern, I'm not mad at that one. I do think Common's a legend, but it's gonna be funny because I'm gonna name somebody, y'all gonna be like, how the fuck Common a legend? And this nigga you about to name not a legend. But I'm not mad at you at all for saying that because I can see it going either which way. Eddie, who do you got for a legend that you don't like, and then somebody who's a legend that you don't think is a legend?
All right, legend that I don't like is this one I'm gonna catch a lot of bullets for. It's 50 Cent. I might have liked him at one point, but to be honest, I never go back to him. I even feel like some of the stuff I used to kind of sort of like when I was younger. Like, I know people love Get Rich or Die Trying. I never feel the need to go back to that. I never feel the desire. Like, it's just something about it to me, but he's a legend, what he, the impact he had, the influence, the artists that he put on with G Unit. Then, if you want to take a step forward, further, like the business deals he's made, that have kind of looked good for hip hop. He has Power, which, a lot of people watch, the Ottoman War thing. I won't say he's not a legend, but he's just not my cup of tea.
Well, here's the funny part of it. I'll say it. That nigga ain't a legend to me because he don't check the boxes for me. Like I said, nice as hell to me. 50 is a 3.5 mic rapper at best. I've never heard 50 and just been enamored by the bars. Like, oh my God, rewind that back. What did 50 say? Never been enamored by that. He does have one classic because Get Rich or Die Trying is a classic. I don't feel like he changed the climate of hip hop in any way. If anything, he changed the climate of maybe mixtapes, getting on via mixtapes. And
yeah, I'll give him that. I feel like the mixtape run, and G Unit and all that, like.
See, then again, for me, Banks is good. Banks is one of them MCs that I feel like people put Banks up there with a lot of big names, and maybe it's just me. I don't hear it. Is he dope? Yeah, he's dope. But when niggas be like, "Oh, Elzhi and Banks," I'm like, "Whoa, slow the fuck down." Elzhi and Banks, let's just, But even through them ransom calls, Mickey Fax, RJ Payne, they kept bringing up Banks. Oh, yo, get Banks on the phone, and I'm like, why are we getting Banks on the phone? So Tony Yayo, that wasn't it. So to me, even the G Unit run wasn't great. I go back to what Vern said. Yeah. Great businessman, but I'm not giving, none of my legendary stuff has anything to do with any network deals you sign with Showtime or Reebok or Vitamin Water. None of that has anything. You want to talk about, again, 50 could be a legendary businessman. I'm not mad at that. He could be a legendary mixtape rapper who broke in over here. But I just personally don't see it because after Get Rich or Die Trying, his discography just went downhill. If you go to a 50 concert right now, you probably want that nigga to perform the theme to fucking Power before you want him to perform anything. I'm dead ass. I saw a show and he did the Power theme and niggas went crazy. So it's like if you want to go see Prince and he ain't do When Doves Cry, you're gonna be mad at the end of the night. If 50 don't do the Power theme, Niggas are mad. But again, I know I'm the odd man looking out on that, but that is definitely one of my people.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
His high was one of the highest ever in hip hop history. You know what I'm saying? Like his high was Snoop Dogg high. Like every record broken, and then the streets rock with him, the crossover rock with it, the clubs. When that album dropped, it was as big as any album in hip hop history. Then maybe the Master was bloated, but during the time his run between Get Rich, the Master, G-Unit, the Shoes, the Clothes, the Cultural Impact, 50 Cent is a hip hop legend. So he's too large not to be for that. That time period, he actually ran hip hop.
But again, Tone, this is why I said I wanted to check. But this is why I said I wanted to check our boxes. All those things you just named ain't in none of our boxes. There was nothing in the box about no Reeboks. There wasn't no box about
I think that
goes
into the impact and influence.
We're gonna be checking boxes, because when you put it like that, it sounds great. But then when you go back to the but people, it's just like, to me, it's like, again, it's the educator in me. Gadget hands in his test. Shit look real good until I go to the answer key. See, the problem is we always want to grade a test and don't have the answer key. So when we go back to the answer key, which is everybody's individual things, everything you just named is not on the answer key. Anybody here feel like 50 Cent is a 5 mic MC? Like, do we really think 50 is barred? Is anybody waiting to get their notification?
Every legend not a 5 mic MC.
I know. But again, just for me, I said you got to be 4 mics or better. To me, 50's 3.5 in his heyday. Wankster is not. I never listened to Wankster and was like, I hate that song. Oh, rewind that shit back. He said that. First of all, I thought the beat was whack for Wankster. I thought so. Again, there's never been no 50 bar that I'm just so moved by that I'm like, it. And again, here's the thing with 50, and it's one of them what if, could ifs. I don't think 50 is 50 if that nigga don't get shot. That was that nigga's claim to fame. I've been shot 9 times. I've been shot 9 times. I've been shot 9 times. I'm like Jay-Z. Where I'm from, nigga, I respect the shooter. I don't respect the nigga who got shot. The nigga who got shot don't show me any type of street credibility. So
I think he would have been an underground mixtape rapper. He would have stayed that route if he didn't get shot and got all the publicity around it. I don't know if he was working on something already, his album, but
before he got
shot, he had
the How to Rob. He had the How to Rob song when he was signed with Steve Style and the Trackmasters. It wasn't nobody really fucking with 50 like that.
How would a dollar got shot?
Yeah, you know what I mean? So the thing is like when 50 was around before that, you know what really did it? Let's keep it a buck. The Dre and Eminem co-sign, you tap that onto getting shot 9 times, and there you go. There you go right there. Because he was with Steve Stout and the Trackmasters, and wasn't nobody trying to hear nothing about the power of a dollar. You get signed by Dr. Dre and Eminem at the height of Dr. Dre and Eminem. You put out that Go It's Your Birthday song in the club with a Dre beat.
That's a monster song.
It is. It's a monster song. It's not a dope hip hop song to me. It's a dope club song.
But
I mean, nobody.
I've never
put on stuff for that year. And again, this is just for me. If anybody says 50, like I said, I'm gonna be the odd man out. And I agree with you. I remember trying to go buy Get Rich or Die Trying. I couldn't find it nowhere. I went to like 9 different record stores, and they were sold out everywhere. But again, on my list, I don't have sold out all the record stores in Maryland on You Gotta Be a Legend. That wasn't on none of our lists that you got to be able to sell out 4 record stores or more. So again, when you say these things, it sounds like they're a legend, but then we go back to the answer key. Is he really a legend based off of what we said?
But here's the thing, Kill. Like, to me, and I'm saying I don't like the dude, so I'm not here defending him, but I'm trying to be unbiased. So when you say selling out all the records in the first week, or when you talk about his shoes, to me that is categories. So one goes into the impact category, and the other goes into the influence category. And those are 2 things that I had as criteria for legend. I mean, to me, saying if someone's a 5 mic MC, like, I don't think he is either. I don't think he's a dope MC, but someone out there does. So that's why, enough people do, and they put him in that category of legend. I'm just saying, I don't feel him. You know what I mean?
And again, I'm with, like Vern said, selling sneakers, none of that stuff has anything to do with the music. So the cultural impact is, to me, the cultural impact has to be about music. It can't be about sneakers, because the problem is if a rapper at that time, any rapper who said, I just sold 10 million records, comes out with a clothing line, you're going to sell clothes.
There'll be the mixtape on then. But mixtapes are huge deal in hip hop. He's the first one.
I give him a mixtape legend, but again, just on my criteria, there's and he has a great resume. He has an amazing resume, which is why I said for somebody else, maybe their criteria is you sold 10 million records. Because none of us said anything about record sales or awards when we talked about legends. None of us said any of that. No. So you saying he sold 10 million records, thumbs up. That's dope. That's a huge accomplishment. Like, maybe you're a legend for selling records in the first week. You could be a legend in different places, but you don't have to be an all-around hip-hop icon legend, hip-hop Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? Just in my opinion. And again, somebody else will say, you know what, Kill? Nah, he put the mixtape game on. That changed the game, and he did this. But again, I just feel like 50 may have out 6 albums, and are we listening to any of them? Outside Get Rich or Die Trying.
Let me ask you a question, Kill.
Uh-huh.
Let me ask you a question. Let's say hip hop is, I don't know how many exact years. Let's just say 50 years right now. And we chronicling hip hop for the last 50 years. Can you tell the story of hip hop and come into the new millennium in 2000 without 50 years?
Nah, I don't think you can. I don't think. But again, let's go back to the answer key. When I asked everybody in the beginning of this, nobody said, and to be a legend, we have to be able to tell the story. Your name has to be brought up in the story of hip hop.
No, it goes back to the influence and the impact.
Okay. So the influence and the impact of that. And again, does he check all? He checks all your boxes.
Well, the music is subjective, but a lot of people think his music is dope. Like, I thought the mixtape run was dope shit. He was spitting bars in the mixtape.
But does he check all your boxes to be a legend? 50.
Right.
Okay, he does.
Yeah, he's a legend to me.
I'm not. Like I said, I'd be the odd man. I know I'm the odd man out. I know I'm the odd man.
No, you're not. Because I'm with you.
I think his impact overshadows his discography.
His music.
To me.
Yep. And again, I think it goes back to, like I said in the beginning, different definitions for the same word. When I'm talking about impact, I'm talking about, like I said, like gave examples, like you changed the way people rhyme. Like that's what Rakim did. Or you put Atlanta on the map, like Outkast did. I don't think I don't know if for me, the impact of the mixtape game is enough for me.
That's massive, a lot of them people after him use the mixtape to jumpstart their career. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty massive. Mixtape.
But is that music? Is that a good idea, or is that music? Like, you know what I mean? Like, did his music impact other artists? Like you were just saying how other underground rappers wanted to be like, hey, we studied Common. Like that, you just gave that example of impact for Common. I don't know if any rappers were sitting around like, oh shit, I gotta study this Wankster shit. So I gotta study his rhyme style in the club. Well, I'm studying. One of my favorite 50 songs is Many Men. One of my favorite songs. I love Many Men. I don't know if some young MC was like, I gotta study this style so I can master Many Men. I mean, was he? We talking about Rakim being so intricate with his rhymes? Was 50 Cent really intricate? Like, was he double entendres? Was he throwing shit in the air?
Most legends not like that.
No,
most legends not rapping like Rakim.
50 a pass that they don't give Ja Rule.
You know, I love Ja Rule though, so that's a story.
Well, here's the other thing. Here's the other thing about 50 that I never got. You ethered Ja Rule and then you took his shit. Like you rogued that nigga. Like on the
Ja Rule.
Touched Ja Rule and took all his power, and then you did fucking choruses for him. Like you literally
singing on every.
What's the guy's name? Shang Tsung.
This nigga, and then you just became Ja Rule.
I think Ja Rule had more of a musical impact than 50 did.
I ain't mad at that.
Musically. His impact musically was stronger than 50's to me.
I'm not mad at that.
And that's
but again, I know I'm not mad out with 50. It's just
you're not the odd man out, because I told you I want to talk about music, not the spectacle, not all the beefs he had in, threatening people to end their careers. Nigga, I can't name you 10 songs that I want to hear of 50 Cent. I couldn't stand in the club. I couldn't stand that song, man.
I mean, massive song, big hit. I won't say it's exactly Dre's best beat. I don't know anybody making a best of Dre's mixtape and they like, ooh, you missed in the club, nigga. Like, I don't think I'm pissing anybody off with my Beats by Dre mixtape and In the Club ain't on there. I don't think nobody's like, yo, you missed one here. Like, that shit wasn't deep cover. That shit wasn't nothing but a deep thing. That shit wasn't gin and juice. Yep. Like, you gotta have this Dre beat. But I've given 50 enough time. Rel, what about you, brother? A legend who you don't rock with and somebody who people say is a legend, but you don't see as a legend.
I struggle with this, man, but this first person, like, I don't know if any of us think you're a legend, but I know, like, in a certain demographic, he's looked at as a legend, and I don't have nothing against him, but his style just ain't something I don't know. I just don't, and that's the Bull Tech 9.
I've heard people say that on Twitter too.
Yeah, boy, he's highly respected. A certain demographic looked at, has done well for himself, but musically it's not really, it's not really something I listen to. You know what I'm saying? Like, no disrespect to him, but his style and like it's just something I don't listen to. I don't know how everybody feel about the Bull, but I could go forever without listening to his music. You know what I'm saying?
Same.
Yeah,
I've never heard anybody
agree with that.
So I guess my timeline ain't as bad.
Nah. In a certain demographic though, like he's from like Kansas City or whatever, and that in a certain area, he's looked at like that dude. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm just like
that may go back to what Tom was talking earlier about a regional legend. A lot of people feel like you put. Like I just said with the Roots, I buy all they shit because what they did for my city. If I'm not from Philly, there's no way I'm buying all these Roots albums. I'm not buying all 5 copies of Things Fall Apart. I'm not buying all the Questlove books. Like, I literally put my money behind them because of what they've done for my city. But again, if I'm not from Philly, there's no way in hell I'm buying no more Roots albums after that. Whatever came out after Things Fall Apart. I'm like, I'm done. So he could just be a regional legend and like those people hold him in such high esteem. T the God, when he was on here, and he was saying Twista. He's from Chicago, and he's like, yo, Twista's a fucking legend. I'm like, beg to differ. I think he may be a Chicago legend.
Chicago.
You know what I mean? But I don't feel like Twista. But again, it's hard to tell somebody from their city who's not a legend outside in the bigger scheme of things. Like I had somebody tell me the other day that Jedi Mind Tricks were a Philly legend. Go ask these 3 other niggas. And I'm like, these niggas ain't from Philly. How you gonna tell a Philly nigga? First of all, nigga, you in London. No disrespect to anybody from London. I'm not doing the whole, if you ain't from here, you can't say, I'm not saying that. But how am I gonna tell Vern who is a legend in Gary, Indiana? I can't tell that man that. Whoever, you know what I mean? Like, that's his city. So I wouldn't tell T the guy like, yo, I don't think he's a all-around legend. I do think he's a Chi-Town legend.
He's a Chicago legend. Yeah, and it's concept that you're not being honest if you try to stretch it further than that. Same with Big L to me, like you were talking to him. I'll give you your props on that category, but not overall, nah, bro.
Right. And Rel, who's the person? Do you have a person who you think people? Oh, that was your Tech 9 person that people call legends. That you
people
don't think
that I don't really, and then somebody who I don't think a legend. Man, it's kind of difficult for me to like. I want to be respectful as possible, but I don't think Nipsey Hussle a legend.
We just spoke on that. We just.
Oh, y'all did. Oh, my bad.
Yeah. I mean, no. You can speak on it. I was just saying that I don't know where we came up with this new math equation that rapper dies, rapper plus death equals legend. Like, because I was a Nipsey fan before he passed, and I don't remember anybody ever saying that he was a legend.
Right.
I think it's just once you die, you automatically become a legend. And I kind of get it with Nipsey because I was a fan of Nipsey the man before Nipsey the music, just all the great stuff he was doing in Crenshaw. So I think people want to get behind it. They don't want to slaughter the dead's name or anything like that. And then we want to raise you up even higher. So we kind of give you that title. It's just that wasn't the way. I always tell people everything in life is about how you was raised. Yeah. Anybody out there married will know the way you was raised may be different than the way your wife was raised, and y'all trying to bring these two ways you was raised together and make a life of it and then raise other children. So everything goes back to how you were raised. I was giving the example of if you was a nigga in the hood who was a shady nigga in the hood, when you died, niggas ain't now talking about, oh, you was such a good guy. No, we miss Pee Wee for getting shot, but we ain't gonna sit around here and talk about what a great guy Pee Wee was when we all know he wasn't. You know what I mean?
Right. So I feel like, you know what I'm saying, like I had got into it with some people about the whole Nipsey, and I wasn't trying to be like that dude, like, oh, y'all wasn't talking about him when he was alive. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't trying to be that guy, but I was listening to Nipsey before all of this. Like, I was Nipsey, Dom Kennedy. I was a fan of those dudes before it got popular. You know what I'm saying? Like, I felt like the Crenshaw mixtape was better than Victory Lap to me. You know what I'm saying? And I liked that. And, you know, when he passed or whatever, you know, I think, you know, people started saying he was a legend. I thought, you know, as a person, I would say, yeah, you know what I'm saying? But if we sticking strictly hip hop, I think that's like revisionist history. You know what I'm saying? They ain't.
Right.
I can't put him in that category. No disrespect, even though I'm a fan.
Well, you know what? Also, everything happens now in the new internet era where everything is sensationalized. You know what I'm saying? Like it's almost like they use this guy's death. You know what I'm saying? For whatever reason. I mean, he's a local legend. I give him that. But he was an underground dude up until like a year before Victory Lap came out.
That's
you know what I'm saying? A lot of us were listening to his joints back in 2012 to 2013. Nipsey wasn't new. Nipsey had been out 7-8 years.
For a minute, yeah.
They made this huge funeral. They made this big, almost like a mockery of his death, almost. You know what I'm saying? Because you can also see it on YouTube. You can see the guy shooting them, doing all that. So it was almost like a movie. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, you know what I'm saying? So it kind of raised who he was. He sounded like a solid dude. Did a lot of stuff in his community. Local legend. On his way to popping off. But how can you be a legend? When I give you an example. I was watching the coverage. My wife came in the kitchen. She loves hip hop. But she's like, who's Nicky Hunt?
Yeah.
Okay. She knows who, you know, Outkast and everybody else is like legends.
And you know what, Tone? That may be the other point too, because I've always said to me, to be a legend, your name has to ring out.
Ring.
Like, for instance, I always tell people I didn't start really watching basketball until 89, Bad Boys, the Lakers, when the Lakers won that chip in 89. But even though I didn't watch basketball, I knew who Magic Johnson was. I knew who Larry Bird was. I knew who Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was. Like, certain names, I knew who Dr. J was. You know what I mean? Even certain names, even if you don't watch, here's an even better example. I didn't start watching college ball till 97, like really watching it hard. But I knew who the Fab Five were. I knew who the UNLV Running Rebels were. I knew who them two white boy, Christian Laettner. I knew Christian Laettner and Bobby Hurley. So again, even though I didn't watch college basketball and really follow it, you still knew these people. And I think that's a great point about if you are a legend, then even the kind of person who, like you said about your wife, like she likes hip hop, but she ain't ahead. Like that person should know who you are. If you're a legend, T don't watch no basketball, but she know who LeBron is. She know who Kevin Durant is. She know who, you know what I mean? Like you should know who these people are, even if you're not following the sport. You know, and that's one of my beefs with college basketball over the past couple of years. I follow it and don't know who half these niggas are. You know what I mean? So to me, that's what shows me the level of, you know, of greatness is going down, because now I'm watching it and no names even ring out like that. All right, y'all, let me get ready to piss all y'all off right now. I'm gonna start with a lot of the legends I don't like. I'm gonna just tag it on to just regional bias. You know what I mean? Because I'm not from here. You know, we could start with E40. I think E40 is a certified hip hop legend in the Bay. I'm watching this movie. I mean, this show now, Blind Spot, and it's on Showtime, and it's shot in the Bay. No, it's on Stars, and they're playing like some of that swervy or whatever they call it stuff, and I'm seeing like it within their culture, and I get it. You know what I mean? It's like Gadget to me, like about Go-Go. Until I moved here, I kind of felt like Stringer on the Wire with Go-Go. Like, and the nigga was like, nah, nigga, you need to come out here to Oxon Hill and go to a real Go-Go. Like, I feel like it's a regional thing. So I mean, E40's music is just for me, but I will never say, I understand that he is a hip hop legend. I don't think he's just a Bay Area legend. I do think he's a hip hop legend. I can stand back and kind of see, you know, take my blinders off, because one, I've never listened to a lot of his music. So I respect enough people who tell me, if people in my circle say, nah, I kill, he a legend, I'm at 47, I'm cool to fall back and just be like, all right, you know what? I'm good with that, because I'm going to keep it a buck with you. I'm really not going to try and dive in to either, you know, make a point that he isn't or just get down with the fact that he is. I just bow down and say, y'all got it. Here's the person who I think everybody says is a legend. It is a legend. Black Thought. I do not think Black Thought is a legend. I saw a t-shirt the other day. Gadget wilding out over here. I saw a t-shirt the other day that said, who's the best MC, Biggie, Jay-Z, or Nas? It had all their names crossed out and had Thought. And I'm like, so Thought is better than Biggie, Jay-Z, and Nas? Really? I don't see that at all. Here's the thing about Black Thought to me. I grew up in West Oak Lane, Philly, living with my grandmother until I was in 4th grade. Our neighbor will fight pit bulls. So I grew up around pit bull fighting. To me, Thought is like a ferocious pit. He's the pit that when you let off that chain, that pit is going to devour everything in his way. That nigga is going to devour anything. You give him a mic like Gadgets right now and you just sit him down, that nigga is going to annihilate anybody, anything in his way. But here's the other thing that I've learned. Now that I got a dog, I be watching the dog shows. Let me ask y'all a question. You gonna take that same pit bull who just killed everything in sight, you gonna take him to the dog show?
Nope.
Nope. You're not taking that nigga to the dog show because he gonna make a fucking mess of everything. That nigga gonna be jumping on the tables, he gonna be biting people, he gonna be knocking shit over, everything. I give that example to say that y'all know me. I want a well-rounded MC. I want an MC that can take me places. I want an MC who can tell me stories. I want an MC, and that's why I was talking about what Vern was saying about Common. Common can do those things with me. Common can take me places with Testify. Before I even saw the video, I could see it playing out in my head. Payback is a grandmother. His grandmother getting robbed on a riverboat. Common got to find out, you know, stolen moments. Common can take me places.
All right, man. Common is a legend. I was wrong. I just
I'm not trying to
no. Y'all have. He just disappointed me, but he is a legend.
Okay. I wasn't trying to sway you. I'm just trying to show, because I know people watching right now like, wait a second, Kill. Common is a legend, but Thought isn't. That's why I'm trying to explain to you what I want from an MC. And I want the dog who's gonna go to the dog show, who can do all the bow, jump, get up, do this, walk, be nice, you know, sit down, get on somebody like. I don't want the ferocious pit bull. That shit was cool when I was 12 years old and I'm in West Oak Lane walking around with my pit bull. I don't want that shit at 47. And like I said, what really hit me, the thing about Thought, was when Royce came out with the Book of Ryan and Fonte came out with No News is Good News. And to me, these are kind of like Thought's contemporaries. And on Fonte's No News is Good News, he's talking about burying his father and dealing with health issues, with expensive jeans, getting remarried, raising his kids. But he still will give you a joint like, I forgot the name of the first joint. I was just talking about this. God. Yeah, So Help Me God. Fonte will still let you know he will fucking eat you. Royce, same thing with Book of Ryan. This dude's talking about growing up in his house and his father on cocaine and his brothers and fights, but he still will bar you to death. Then I hear Stream of Thought Volume 1 and it's just the wild pit bull. Thought just sound like he just came straight from Hot 97 and just went straight to the studio, just kept on running, just kept on going out the door. Now here's the thing, if that's what you like, I get it. But I need more than an MC to just spit out the gate. And again, he doesn't check the boxes for me. I mean, Thought is nice as hell. I don't even know how to explain it, because my number one thing is storytelling. That's one of my number one things about an MC. And Thought just does, if it's not about a girl, Thought is not telling you a fucking story. I don't know if he changed the climate of hip hop. I don't know if MCs are like Black Thought changed the way I rhymed. I don't know if he did that. I mean,
His group did.
You said the Roots did?
Yeah, not the way people rhyme, but I think they were impactful. I mean, I don't know, man. That's a tough one for me.
Yeah, I mean, just for and when I'm talking about change the climate of hip hop, even the other examples I got like was Timbaland's drum program. Like nobody was doing that before Timbaland, and then everybody did it. Or the way Dilla was making beats. Like I don't think Thought has just done anything for me. Here's the other piece of the puzzle. I ain't hear nobody even talking about Black Thought like that until after this Funk Flex freestyle. Truth be told, mad niggas was hitting me. Oh, you seen Thought do that? Nigga, Thought do that all the time. That ain't shit. I done seen Thought did that for the past 20 years. What y'all niggas shocked about? Now niggas want to talk about Black Thought. You know what I'm saying? So again, to me, he's just not a legend. That's not a knock on him. If you just are if you want to be at the Pitbull fight, I totally get you saying Black Thought is your GOAT. He's just, because he's gonna put in that work. Don't ever get twisted. I don't think I've seen anybody body that Funk Flex freestyle like that ever before. But again, he just doesn't check the boxes for me. I like MCs that have some quotables. I was listening to Champions here mixtape the other day when Jada said, "Yo, fuck riding the beat. I parallel park on the track." It was like, God damn. I don't get that from Thought. I don't get those quotables from Thought. You know what I mean? That whole Funk Flex freestyle, it may be 2 or 3 things he said that I remember. I think he said something like, you're gonna get stole on and my young John, and I just remember those because that's Philly slang. I know he said something about pre-Kardashian Kanye, but to spit for 20 minutes and I can only remember 2 or 3 bars, like nothing stood out to me, doesn't do it for me.
I'm stuck on that Sharia law. My Sharia more. That one jumped out at me. Oh okay. Man, ooh, man, y'all, hey, bro, y'all better not show yourselves in Philly.
Here's the biggest misconception about the Roots in Philly.
True.
When the Roots was coming up, nobody fucked with the Roots in Philly. Like niggas didn't mess with them because the Roots was like, yo, Philly is more state property than the Roots. So even niggas in Philly didn't. The Roots will tell you niggas in Philly did not rock with us when we was coming up. And then, like I said, you just get to a certain point where it's just a cool thing to say you like the Roots now. But ain't nobody in Philly gonna feel no kind of way about a nigga saying, you go to Philly right now, the average nigga gonna tell you Black Thought, Beans, Freeway, Chris and Neef is better than fucking Black Thought. You know what I mean? If you go to real Philly, you know what I mean? So, and again, it's no knock. I think Thought is an incredible MC. To me, he's just not a legend because he's not checking any of these boxes for me. Not to mention the legendary albums from the Roots, he had Malik B at his side. You know what I mean? So he wasn't even in the chapter of how Nick always schooled me. He was like, yo, niggas in the group can't make my top 10 unless you had a solo album out. Because you just trading bars with somebody. So somebody like Pharoah is good money because Pharoah has a solo discography like that. You know what I mean? But if Pharoah just stayed in organized confusion, it was just him and Prince Poe all the time. So all the legendary albums that the Roots have for me is him and Malik B. So, and then when Malik left the group, it's not like Thought took up the mantle like, okay, I'm the only MC, let me put in this work. 3 verses, 48 bars per song. Nah, you look at any Roots song, every Roots song got damn 4 or 5 different Porn, Truck North, this nigga, that nigga, everybody, every Roots song featured 9 niggas. So it's not even like he took up the mantle of, okay, yo, my partner left, let me step up and be the man of the group. So, what y'all got on that? Anybody with me? I'm crazy.
I'm agreeing with everything you just said.
And trust me, I know this one. I know this one is some old. But again,
I think, I put it like this. I think Black Thought did himself a disservice. I think there was something about him that I don't know if he didn't want the spotlight, like he just wanted to rap and he didn't really want the spotlight, because if you remember, there was a point in time when it was Questlove who used to do all the interviews. Like Black Thought's supposed to be the front man. He wasn't really speaking in the interviews like that. I think like more recently he's broken out of that shell and started talking, which might coincide with him finally doing them solo albums. But if he would have dropped Masterpiece Theater when it was supposed to be, Like that wound up becoming Phrenology, or some of them songs on there wound up becoming Phrenology. I think Hardware was the only single that got released, but the album never dropped. If he would have did that, there might have been a different conversation. Now it depends. How would the album have been received or whatnot? But I think that's the start of it. But I think him waiting that long and not striking when the iron is hot, because after things fall apart is when he should have done it. And I think that's when it was supposed to happen, and he just backed out of it. So
see, for me, I don't even know if that makes a difference, because Masterpiece Theater, like you said, that shit turned into Phrenology, which I think was just bare minimum
right,
at best. Hardware was not even a dope single, and he's had 3 streams of thoughts. So he's had 3 times to get out here and prove to me. And here's the thing, I was about to say prove to me. I ain't nobody. Thought gotta make music for him. So Thought, that made, again, it's not even my opinion. It's a fact that storytelling is not Thought's strong point. Like, Thought is not making you Stolen Moments. Like, again, anybody who's never heard Stolen Moments by Common, listen to Stolen Moments. Thought is not doing that. Thought is going to get on the track, and he's going to do what Thought does. It's almost like I said, you want a pit bull fight, you bring the pit bull to the fight, take him off the leash, he's going to do what he did, and then you're going to go home. So again, that's Thought's bread and butter. That's what Thought loves to do. I was telling T the other day, I'm so fucking sick and tired of Kevin Hart, because he's like a buffoon to me. Like, everything is a joke, everything is dumb. He's always yelling and screaming. I'm like, nigga, will you do a movie where you a nigga, my nigga? Like, stop screaming and yelling and getting thrown out the window by The Rock and getting punched by Ice Cube and getting slapped. Like, that's what Kev Hart does. So Kev Hart, I don't go see Kev Hart movies because they don't do it for me. Same thing with Thought. But people like Kev Hart movies because they make a shitload of money. That's just not it for me. What you gonna say, Vern?
He surprised me in that Fatherhood movie, though.
Okay, I didn't see that one yet. I didn't see that one yet.
But I agree with you all up in that. He surprised me in that one.
And I was telling T the other day, ain't nobody gonna go back and watch Ride Along Part 2 5 years. Shit, we ain't going back to watch it right now, let alone 20 years from now, like we do with Coming to America and all the Eddie Murphy joints we got. But neither here nor there. That's just my thing on Thought. Again, if you really want to be, let's talk intelligently about it. Even if you don't agree with me, you got to at least sit back and say, damn, Kill made some points. You can say you don't agree with me and he's a legend. That's cool. Maybe you want the Pitbull fight. I want the dog show. I want the all-around album that I can put on and enjoy everything. Gadget, give me somebody else, bro. Let's piss them off. Who you got? Because I know you got somebody on your list. You got to piss somebody off, because I just pissed a lot of people off. So you got to take it to the next level.
I'm about to get some unfollows. I'm about to get a whole bunch of hate. A legend whose music that I absolutely hate. Tupac Shakur.
I don't even know.
That was on my list.
I don't even know if you'll get a lot of hate, because I think, Tone, you said it earlier, even if you don't like Pac.
But I'm acknowledging him as a legend.
Right.
Yep.
There's a lot of people. So that's why I don't think it's that bad, because there's a lot of people who don't like Pac. You know what I mean? But acknowledge him as a legend. And again, everybody, just another thesis statement. Just because we don't like you, because we're not a fan of you, does not mean we think you trash. Don't mean we don't like you. Don't mean we think you whack. You ain't 5 trash cans. We're just not a fan. Well, let me not put words in Gadget's mouth. Gadget may think Pac is trash.
I mean, Pac had some good songs, but that's it. He didn't do anything for me. Nothing.
Thank you, Gadget. You're giving me courage. I got the next person I'm talking about.
Yeah, I kind of agree, because I think, recently, I forgot when it was, sometime last year, like I revisited Pac's discography, and there was a lot more songs that I liked than I remember. But I mean, there was a lot of songs I liked, so he's an artist I can make playlists for. But do I want to play his albums from beginning to end? Not really. Like, I mean, maybe there's a couple I could kind of do that with, but not really. But he got joints. Is he an amazing MC? I don't think he's an amazing MC. I think he's a poet. But
let
that's about
me
it.
let me ask a question, Tone. Were people saying Pac was a legend? Because you got to understand, anybody who watches this and tunes in every week, you kind of know how I was with Pac. When there was the East Coast West Coast war, I was Team Biggie, so I ain't want to hear shit from Pac. I literally just heard All Eyes on Me for the first time, like maybe 2-3 years ago. Like it literally was like I'm not listening to a word that Pac has said. Tone, before Pac was killed, were people viewing him as a legend? Or do you remember him being mentioned as, you know, kind of like how Jay said, you know, who's the best MC, Biggie, Jay-Z, or Nas? Was Pac's name, because I wasn't a fan, I don't know. So that's why I want to ask y'all. And Tone, I know you fuck with Pac. So was Pac's name being mentioned? I just want to make sure we're not doing the Big L thing where it's like, nah, people, like, were people talking about Pac in such a way before he died, like when I guess Machiavelli came out after he died. So after All Eyes on Me, were people talking about Pac like legend, who's the best rappers, Biggie, Jay-Z, Nas, or Pac? Like, was he looked at like that before he died? Do you remember?
Yeah, he was. Well, you know, from my perspective, by the time All Eyes on Me came out, you talking about 6-7 million records, number one as far as popular rapper at that time. You know, because Biggie had 95 on rock to me, but 96 before
right,
Nas.
But not record sales, not popularity. Just as far as you chilling with your crew at that time, whoever you were hanging with.
A lot of people love Pac. Okay. Yeah, a lot of people love Pac. He was a big ass star, at least in North Carolina. You know what I'm saying? After Juice, then going into Me Against the World, the getting shot and all that. I mean, all that shit kind of made, you know, was a factor in it. But also, you gotta think he did have Dear Mama shit. The Brenda stuff, then had the thug shit. So I mean, he touched a lot of different people, a lot, you know, the black community in terms of different types of music. You know what I'm saying? He had the thug shit. He didn't have Keep Your Head Up. He had Round and Round. So yeah, he was a big ass star. I'm not gonna front. You know
but now you just said he was a big ass star.
I think some people
saying he was a legend.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh yeah.
All right. One day we got to do a show about why do you get the blow up after you get shot. Like I'll never forget. Like that was on The Sopranos one time. I was just rewatching The Sopranos when Lord Jamal was on there, and it was like, "Yo, you're a rapper and your sales are going down. Like, yo, act like you got shot now to help sell your next record." I mean, this shit is on The Sopranos. This is a storyline, as short as it may be, on The Sopranos.
Yeah, I remember that.
Why is it that the second you get shot? Why? I am so dumbfounded.
Hip hop also got a street element to it in a lot of ways, and
why isn't that the shooter? Like I feel like Beans was in court for shooting somebody and didn't get enough love as if he would have gotten shot. Like and that's the weird part to me because it's like Beans had this crazy line. I said, this is a really crazy Philly nigga. This nigga said, yo, they got me for attempted murder. These niggas disrespecting my aim. Nigga, if I shoot you, I'ma kill you. Like, nigga, who says that? You know, but nobody even was like, oh shit, Beans. But then Game, I got shot. 50, I got shot. Pop, I got shot. You blow up. I'm so, this is like ass backwards math again to me. Like, why is it that we respect the guy who gets shot and not the shooter? So
remember though, that situation happened. Vern, you probably know this better than anyone and maybe how true this is. But the legend was about Pac having that shootout with them all duty cops in Atlanta. And even though I think a lot of that shit is fabricated, and I let Vern kind of speak up. I don't know. That takes things to a whole different level because that made him super mad to somebody kids on the internet.
Yes, and it pisses me off and it aggravates me. Man, he's a celebrity and he's a legend to a lot of people. But I have so much mixed feeling about Pac because we had the show about the East Coast, and it bothers me to even still talk about it because I hate the energy that he put out into the atmosphere.
Oh no, absolutely. That hurt me, man.
Yeah, it hurts, man. And I hung out with him a couple of times, and that's not who he was, man. So I think a lot of times people put that in front of, they let that cloud the music. I mean, because if we keeping it funky, niggas wasn't checking for, that Tupac Now album like that when it first came out. You know, I Get Around is when it started popping, and then the rah rah gangster nigga just elevated his legend more so than the music, in my opinion, man. But so I got a lot of mixed emotions about Tupac.
All right, no doubt. So Gadget, that's Pac. Give me a legend who gets that title, but you don't think is one.
Ooh, I'm really gonna piss some people off. Laureen Hill.
I'm not mad at that either.
People call Laureen Hill legend. No, dog. She got what? 2 Fugees album and 1 solo. And no, I mean she passes she passes the impact, but the discography it's not there.
Let me ask you this, Gadget, because I agree with you. So now we just gonna keep it going. What's the impact? I'm curious. Is it the 10 million record sold? Because that was really based off of Killing Me Softly, which is her singing, which to me is.
I think with her, she helped usher in neo soul.
See, I don't even see that. Like I've never seen Lauryn as like the neo soulish. That was always the Maxwell, D'Angelo, Badu, and Train coming in. I mean, I can see it. I'm not saying that, but okay. So that's the impact. I agree with you. I don't see legend at all. I was just on the timeline today talking about it. When Miseducation came out, I was pissed because I kept waiting for some hip hop. You know what I mean? And it was like it never came. And it was just like, what the hell? And now looking back, I think that's an incredible album. I think it's a 5-mic album. I think it's a classic. But legendary, people get mad when I don't have Lauryn as my dopest MC. I'm like, yo, she never had a solo rapping album.
She doesn't have a solo rapping project. So all I can go off of is
those 16 bars off the Fugees, which is not enough. You dropping us hot 16, 12 times. That's like feature. You know what that's like? That's like how we say maybe Method or Jadakiss doesn't have a 5-mic solo album. To me, we could say the same for Lauryn Hill, because at the end of the day, if you're just dropping the 16 on every song, you ain't really nothing but a feature.
You know what, Kill? I think she get a pass from a lot of people because at one point you looked at her like, oh, damn, she can do everything. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of people looked at her like, okay, you know what? She can rap. She proved that on the Fugees album. She can sing. She can do reggae. She can do gospel. She can do this, that, and the third. So I think a lot of people looked at it by the time Miseducation came out. They're like, that shit had something for everybody on there. And then she did rhyme a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I think it's a monumental album, no doubt. She swept every damn award, so I think the impact is right there. She influenced maybe some females. I don't know.
I keep having a problem with the impact when we're always talking about awards or something like that. Like that. Like I don't care if she won. No, I know what you're saying. I'm not saying you, but I'm just saying how people will be like, well, Kill, she won all these awards, and I'm like, okay, Nas just won his first Grammy after 30 years in the game. You know what I mean? So to me, it's like you swept the awards. Like, I just always felt like awards should be like the last thing talked about. Like if I'm talking about Outkast, if I think they're the greatest group ever, I'm only gonna bring up and they did win Grammy of the Year, not in hip hop, but Grammy of the Year is like the last straw of just like, let me just cut this real quick. But I mean, I agree with you. And Gadget, I agree with you. I don't think she's a legend. Tone, I see what you're saying of why people see her as a legend. But again, I think to me, it just takes more than one monumental album. You know what I mean? To me, it's almost like I look at an album, and this may be bad. No, I guess you could look at it as an NBA season because we came up in the era. What'd you say?
But see, I looked at Lauryn Hill like she's the star of the score, like Snoop is the star of the product. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying the score to her album, but people love. You take Lauryn Hill on
because that's who you want to hear on throughout that whole album.
I totally agree.
You don't want to hear Prize.
Right. I just think, again, for me, it's just, I can't give you again, you're just dropping the 16. Like, you're not taking full accredited classes right now. It's kind of like, no disrespect to anybody at a community college, but, you know, I know when we graduated back in 92, it was like, okay, we going here, y'all at community. Like, I'm not displaying anybody, everybody, I'm not saying one is, well, I guess one is technically better than the other. But what I'm saying is that you got to give me more than just 16 bars to be a legend. It's kind of like we just did on the MC show. My last thing was you got to make an album, 3 verses on each song, no guest appearances. Like, and that's something that Lauren wasn't able to do, that Light was able to do, which is why Light is my number one. You know what I mean? To me, Lauren is a what if. She's a what if. You know what I mean? What if she would have put out a hip hop album? What if Lauren is how I'm gonna talk about somebody else. She's an entertainer. She can act. She's a great entertainer. You know what I mean? MC, I can't give you that because you haven't given me it.
And I saw, when you talk about impact, I saw the impact firsthand because I was working at Tower Records when her CD came out. And you know, if anybody knows Tower Records, when music dropped on Tuesday, Tower Records would sell the CD at midnight. There was if you ever been to GW, George Washington University, there was a line wrapped around George Washington University back up near the White House for people to buy her album.
Yeah.
That's why her impact is.
But again, this goes back to 50. It's not on our list that you got to have a line 50 feet or more. Like, I mean, I feel like this is why we need the answer key. Like, this should have been when we said, well, you need to be a legend. Somebody should have said, and you need to have a line 50 feet or longer around the block in order to be a legend. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, that's great that she sold a lot of records. That's wonderful. But, I just, when I keep thinking about impact, maybe I'm not using the word right. Maybe I need to look up impact.
You know, the love she get, like Nas do this new album, she got one verse on there, and when people heard about her being on the album, they thought she was going to be singing a hook, or maybe they was going to sample her voice. It was a huge deal to hear Lauryn Hill rap, and right now, if people found out she had a 12-song CD, her rapping out right now, she'd be number one trending on Twitter. That's because of the impact she did have at some point, and people still yearn for. It's like that what if, like that kid, like, damn, what if this shit is finally what we've been waiting for? People would check for it, right?
You're 100% right. But here's the question. Would you be hyped for it? Because here's the thing. Okay, see, I would. That train that left the station.
After Nas album, I would be. She sounded pretty good on me.
Yeah, I mean, she did, but I'm like, this education was 98. Nigga, this 2021. That train that left the station. Like, would I check for it? Yes, I would check for it. I mean, it's the internet. We get everything. If you got Apple Music and Tidal, everything is free. But it's like, but are you hyped for it? Like, I'm hyped for this Sleepy Brown Big Boy album coming out next week. You know what I mean? I don't think if I found out Lauryn Hill was coming out with an album, I'd be like, all right, I'll check it out. I don't know if I'd be up at midnight as soon as we end this show, like, okay, where my Apple Music, where my headphones? Like, I'll get to it.
And remember when after Lauryn Hill, every record label tried to have a Lauryn Hill. And
I remember after the Fugees, everybody was trying. That group City High was trying to do it.
No shots to these other artists, but you had Guapale, you had Groove Theory, you had the Vita.
I mean, but that's always been a game. To me, the Fugees was a spinoff of Diggable Planets.
Oh, absolutely.
All that was 2 guys and a girl won a Grammy for cool like that. Okay, let's find 2 guys and a girl. And next thing you know, boom, here go the Fugees. You know, so they wasn't even the OG 2 guys and a girl. You know, so they was birthed out of that. Tone, who you got for your next one, man? I'm loving this show, man. And again, if you're watching, I think
we want to get kicked on Twitter.
I think we're making legitimate cases. Because if we're keeping it a buck, y'all, I've been in too many discussions about hip hop. The average person just talks off their ass. They just talking off the top of their head. They don't know what they, what qualifies this or what's this or what are the 5 attributes you want. You people just talking to just talk. You know what I mean? So again, if you wish your answer sheet and then run these what we're talking about down your answer sheet, and then maybe they are a legend to you. You may be shocked. If you being keeping it a buck, you may be shocked that a lot of people you think are legends. When you do your answer key first, you may find out that they're really not legends. It just sounded cool to say that shit. Tone, who you got?
Man, I hate to do this again. Well, first of all, E. Porter was one of them, and we already talked about him, so I'll pass him. This group, man, they legends. The Ghetto Boys. So look, man.
I got them
Mine-
too.
Mind Playing Storm probably one of the top 10 best maybe hip hop songs ever. I give you that. Damn it, I can't listen to Willie and Bushwick Bill over 12 tracks. Scarface carried them. Scarface carried them. Of course, Face a legend, and Face had a immaculate solo career, so that goes without saying. But after Ghetto Boys, man, after 2 or 3 songs, man, I'm tired of Willie D and Bushwick Bill. I like Willie D's podcast way better like him as a rapper. You know what I'm saying?
I had them down too, so I'm with you on that.
I know that's blasphemy. But this other one I know from Underground, boom, that man's gonna ride me about this. But AZ is not a legend, okay?
I agree.
AZ is dope MC, dope boys, dope flow, fly cat, all that. I give you that. But when I think of legend, what has AZ done that was legendary? He can rap. You know what I'm saying? He has some nice albums, classic songs here and there. I know on my list he doesn't even have a 5 mic album. That was one of my that's one of the bare minimum. That's like the bare minimum to even get. Here's the thing, it's like you trying to get into a club. The bare minimum you gotta have to even get into the club before you get the VIP is a classic album. You have a 5 mic classic album. If you don't have a 5 mic classic album, you can't even get in the club, for me at least. Yeah. And Do or Die to me would be 4.5 mics, and Pieces of a Man be like 4 to me. I like both of them a whole lot. He got a bunch of solid 3.5, 4 mic albums. He's dope. But
I'm not gonna hold you. Do or Die left me wanting more. Like when I listen to Do or Die, I listen to maybe, of course, Rather Unique, Ho Happy Jackie, Sugar Hill, More Money, not More Money, More Problems, More Money, More Murder, More Homicide. Like, there are 5 or 6 tracks, but I'm not gonna hold you. Like, Do or Die kind of left me wanting more because I really, really, really thought I thought Do or Die was gonna be like a 5 mic press play.
I did too.
I don't have to ever,
Unique is one of my favorite tracks of that year, though. Rather Unique was one of my favorite.
I mean, again, him and Pete Rock with what they did with Rather Unique, and I forgot the other joint that Pete did for him. Gimme was crazy with But like I said,
the remix was even better.
What you say?
The remix for Gimme was even better. The Eric Sermon.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
He looped up Freddie Jackson.
Yes,
who did it?
He killed that. Sermon killed that.
Who?
The remix for Gimme.
Yeah, but who did it? Who produced it?
Eric Sermon.
Eric Sermon?
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta check that. And another thing that was supposed to be on the album, Your World Don't Stop. The original Your World Don't Stop that couldn't get cleared was better than what ended up on the album. But yeah, I was let down by that. Eddie, you were saying something?
Oh, I was gonna say, two points. First point is, I don't think anyone would mention him in that conversation if it wasn't for Life's a Bitch. That sparked that's what got off hype, and then I feel like people put him on that pedestal because of that. That's the first point. Number 2, he got a new album, Do or Die 2, which is a whole other conversation we had about the part 2s and why rappers do that. But I saw, people posting about it like, yeah, I'm hyped for it, but I'm mad. I'm mad that there ain't no Nas verse. Like, there is no Nas feature. And I'm like, well, if you mad that there ain't a Nas feature, right? Then are you really hyped for it? You know what I mean? Like, shouldn't you be hyped for the album without any features if you really think he's capable of a classic, or you really think he's capable of this? Like, why does it need a Nas feature? So I think that spoke a lot. That spoke volumes to me.
Bro, what you got?
I think the AZ thing is a classic case of when people confuse favorite for best. Like, I really like AZ. He's one of my favorites, but he's not the best. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not. You ain't
got to sell me on that.
Yeah, he's not a legend, but you know what I'm saying? It's like MCs that you really, really like, but you're not gonna sit there and argue that they like top 3. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so like the AZ thing, he always comes up in the underrated category. People say he was an underrated MC, and I give him that. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't never argue, even though I really like AZ. I wouldn't argue him as a legend. You know what I'm saying?
And I think he may have been in place to try to be a legend, because I always tell people, remember in the Dead Presidents, you know, he's sitting at the table with Biggie, he's sitting at the table with Jay, playing Monopoly, throwing money on the table and everything like that. So just the fact that he was in that company, like, kind of, I know it led me to believe, like, yo, he about to come out with some shit. Like, this nigga hanging out with Big and Jay-Z at the table playing Monopoly with real money or whatever in the video. But again, like, he never just came through with a whole total album for me. And again, like, I just don't think his name, you know, rings out, which again is no knock. Again, everybody can't make the Walk of Fame. Everybody who has acted in a Tyler Perry movie is not going to have a star on the Walk of Fame. They're not. Most won't have the have and the have-nots and the girl, all these shows, like y'all are 9 times out of 10. Enjoy your check, because you are not getting the star on the Walk of Fame. So enjoy your check, enjoy your big house, enjoy your celebrity status. Everybody can't do that. Everybody can't be a legend. What's up, Ed?
I think I had a thought about AZ. Like, I kind of feel like this kind of goes back to the 50 combo a little bit. Like, I feel like AZ just never captured a formula to make, like, all right, like Sugar Hill, right? That was his first big single, right? Like, the way he's rapping was it was dope, but like, I feel like he never really switched it up to kind of give you a different look. I personally feel, and maybe I haven't listened to enough AZ, I feel like he's rapping the same on every joint. At least
you heard one song, you heard all of them.
Yeah, I mean that.
Hey.
I don't agree. I don't agree with that. I think that's an unfair statement.
You know, maybe I haven't listened to enough, but for me, I kind of feel like he does kind of same. Like, you know, Biggie gave you different looks. Even Nas gives you different looks. You know what I mean?
I think
like the greats give you different looks.
Yeah, I think step out of his comfort zone.
What you said?
When the ATL step out of his comfort zone, I mean, you know you're gonna get the smooth flow over a certain kind of sample with AZ, but what kind of song or what kind of project did he actually step out of his comfort zone? And like, damn, I didn't expect AZ to do a track like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, you know an AZ track when you hear one.
Hey,
and here's the thing. We gonna say that?
I don't know my favorite artist. Come on.
Yeah, I was gonna say it may not necessarily be a bad thing that he doesn't step out his comfort zone. I just think AZ didn't really. I think AZ is one of those MCs who just failed of having a good executive producer or having really a good team around him to help him craft better albums. You know, like even the beats he would get with Premier, I would be like, nigga, you paid for that shit? Like, yo, like that's like, yo, that's the best Premier beat. You could have, like, I just feel like AZ may be one of them rappers, and I know lots of them who just like, yo, just give me a beat and I'm gonna kill it. And it's like, no, nigga, like, give us numerous beats and we'll pick the best one. Even the new song he has out with Jaheim, I'm like, this ain't it. Terrible. Like, this ain't it. Like, number one, I'm watching the video and I'm like, why is the song? This is what I mean by executive producer. Everybody watch. I haven't heard something from AZ in years. I'm not big in a mixtape. I'm talking about a legitimate single. I haven't heard nothing from AZ in years. I watched the video. Why is the first voice I hear Jaheim? Why is the chorus going first? AZ should have came in from boom, beat drop, let the beat drop.
And Jaheim did like 20 bars.
And that gadget, that's my next point. Not only did he start the song with the chorus, this nigga had I thought this was Jaheim's song. Yeah. So that's the first thing. That's what I mean by executive producer. If I'm in the studio, I'm like, nah. Hey, you need to be the first. First of all, this beat ain't even dope enough. That this is the first time. People gotta realize that this is like, Vern, me and you always joke about the high school reunion. This is the high school reunion. If y'all watch that episode of Martin, how Martin was like, yo, I got to go. I got to show, you know, I forgot his name, Pretty Ricky, what they called him. I got to show this nigga that I'm on WZUP. This is the high school reunion. Like AZ, we need a beat that when people press play, we gonna be like, ooh, you want that face before you even hear you drop a bar. That ain't this new beat. Then before I hear you drop a bar, I got to hear Jaheim not just sing the chorus, but sing a whole verse. Like, this ain't it, bro. Like, this is not the first single. To me, that wouldn't even made the album. That wouldn't even made the album if I'm the executive producer. Bro, that's That's stuff that go on the lost tapes. That's the AZ lost tapes. That is not your first single, my nigga. Like, that's not it. But you go on Twitter and niggas losing their mind, like, oh, he back. Like, first of all, Jaheim, like, no disrespect to Jaheim, but nigga, that was 20 years ago with KG. Like, I'd rather you come out with somebody new. Again, here's the thing. If I'm the executive producer, nigga, you don't even need no single. You don't even need a single. Because who is AZ's fan base? Do the AZ fan base need a singer singing the hook? No.
Not at all.
Is AZ gonna be getting on the radio? No. So then why the fuck we got a singer in the studio with us? If we not trying to get on the radio and we not trying to get played in the clubs, why do we even have a singer in here with us?
Yeah, it's not
This is
necessary.
what I mean by an executive producer. You need somebody who pushes back on you like, bro, we going for the wrong thing. That's a song you should have made in 95 when you trying to get played, 96, 97. You trying to get played on Hot 97 in the middle of a Bad Boy mix. Not in 2021 when don't nobody even listen to the radio, don't nobody even care about Jaheim no more.
Y'all killing my man. Hey, man, y'all killing me right now.
I mean,
But here's
the crazy thing, bro. But here's the crazy thing. It's all facts. These are all facts. Why would you do that? Why would you go to your high school reunion when you want to show off in a bummy ass sweatsuit? You win. You coming in there with your hair freshly shaped up, beard lined up, your low right. You coming in. You coming in
like that shit, man. I didn't. It's people like it though. I didn't, but that's just because we don't like it. That don't mean I liked it.
I mean, here's the thing. If
I didn't like the single. but it's people that like it.
Well, here's the bad part, Ralph. That's like saying, I'm not getting in trouble this episode. That's like saying, there's somebody who likes everything. You know what I mean? There's something for everybody. But if you're an AZ fan and you're saying you didn't like the single, then he missed the mark. Because you are who he's making music for. Yeah. This is what I talk about an executive producer. You have to know your audience.
I'm not gonna like everything AZ put out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna like that's kind of like blanket. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna, because he put out a single that I didn't like, does not mean that he missed the mark with his project.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't mean he missed the mark at all. What I'm telling you is, and this is from me doing radio, me doing all this shit. Your first single is you shooting your shot.
After a long hiatus at that.
So here's the thing. You see a bad shorty and you shoot your shot. It's your first impression. That doesn't mean that if you fall flat on your face, you can't bounce back and still get the number. I'm just saying that at the end of the day, this is your initial thing. This is the interview. You want it, okay, you didn't go to your high school reunion like that. You gonna show up to a job interview not on point? I would hope not. I would hope you get there early. I hope you would look nice for a job interview, because that's your first impression. Doesn't mean that if you show up bummy, you can't fumble the bag and pick it back up and still get the job. I'm not saying you can't do that. But if you fumble that first single, dog, the first single is your first impression. And I don't know anybody who ever sits around talking about, I don't want to make a good first impression. I ain't met that nigga yet. Everybody in here should want to make a good first impression. I don't care where you go. So again, the album could be bananas. First single length, I can show you 50 different ways he dropped the ball on it. I can show you 50 ways AZ dropped the ball on his whole fucking career. Because he should be a legend. He should. Keyword is should. Yeah. And if you should have been a legend and you didn't, it means you dropped the ball. I can show you where Stephon Marbury dropped the ball. I can show you where a lot of niggas dropped the ball of people who had the talent to make. Kenny Anderson should have been a fucking Hall of Fame point guard. Derek Coleman should have went down as the best power forward ever. So I can show you many ways people drop the ball. It's doable. So I mean, at the end of the day, I hope the boy makes a dope record. But I can tell you this single wasn't it. Vern, what you got for your next one?
All right, hear me and hear me clear.
Be brave. Be brave.
Be brave.
Everybody, he is a bona fide legend. Don't freeze on me now.
Nah, you good. You good.
Oh, man, don't freeze on me now. Hello.
Oh,
you good. Oh man,
come on.
How they gonna freeze on you now, bro? You about to spit your game.
Right.
You look like the Weeknd album cover.
All right, we gonna wait for Vern to get right. Eddie, who you got, man?
All right, so this one, I say enough people call him a legend.
Oh, okay.
All right. Let's go to Vern.
I'm gonna stand up. Listen, he is a bona fide legend. Some of y'all got T-shirts that say he changed your life. I like several songs that he's produced, but Jay Dilla.
Oh!
I'm not mad at it though. I'm not mad. I totally understand.
I just said he's a legend and he made dope stuff that I like. But like, man, just listen. I'm like, dude, it ain't moving me like that. I'm sorry.
You gonna get it worse than You gonna get it worse than anybody.
Nah, I don't think so. I think I'll get the most with thought. I think I'll get it worse.
If you listen to what I said, he's a legend, and
it don't matter.
And I don't deny that. But you can't make me like a lot of his stuff.
I'm gonna get it worse. I'm gonna get it worse.
Yeah.
Who you? Oh God, I don't know who you got coming around.
I'm gonna get it worse on this panel. I'm gonna get it. Yeah.
Here's the thing, Vern. Here's the thing about this, and people watching. Again, keep this in mind. You have to be understanding of people's explanations. Here's the thing. If I wasn't a producer, I probably wouldn't hold Dilla in such a high regard of what I do. But because I'm a producer, I'm listening to things differently than somebody who may not be a producer. So if Vern would have said Dilla's not a legend, I'm not mad at that because I get it. I don't think if I just had normal ears, I would be able to hear everything. Naomi wants to be an architect. Her eyes are open now. When we're in New York, she's like, look at that building. Look, she's seeing shit I don't see because she's looking through architect eyes now. So again, I'm not mad at all. And Dilla's my number one. I think he's the greatest hip hop producer ever, and he's my favorite. Not mad at that at all, good brother.
So please don't tell me about your Nana sauerkraut. I just told you I don't like sauerkraut, but don't tell me you got to listen to the golden. Listen, I like a lot of the stuff that he does.
You know what?
But he just don't.
You know what? Like that. You know what? Let me bounce off something Vern was going to say because I meant to ask you. This relates to the conversation we're having about MCs and kind of like how people will say for certain MCs, oh well, but read the lyrics and hear what you got to say. I wonder sometimes, like, do people and I know you Kill talk about Dilla's process and how he chooses the most obscure samples sometimes, or how he chops it up so it's unrecognizable, but we were just talking with on that Twitter Spaces about MCs on how, like, all right, you know, it's about if you're feeling what they're saying, not necessarily how technical it is. And I feel like with Dilla, what he gets praised for most of the time is how technical he is with what he does. You know what I mean?
I mean,
it kind of made me think about that.
It's different things for everybody. I got a mixtape called Love Is. It's, what is that, 80? It's 160 minutes of Dilla beats that I absolutely love. You know what I mean? But I always tell people, I'm never here to sell nobody. If somebody says, Kill, sell me on Dilla, I can't. I mean, if you want me to send you some joints, I will. But I am the y'all know I hate when I say I don't fucking like Cormega. Now I got 50 inboxes with 50 Cormega remixes. So it's just literally like, it's like I said, I get it. Like, I totally get it. You know what I mean? And I think another thing, and Vern, I'm not trying to sway you or anything like that. I think even when we did the Dilla show, Vegas was one of the people who was like, yo, Kill, I didn't know he did about 50 of the songs you just named. So I think that's another thing with Dilla is that there's so much stuff he did that people don't even know he did. But I'm not saying even if Vern knows. So all I'm saying is I totally get it. Again, you may get killed.
You know what? It's the thing that I hate about Twitter and hip hop Twitter, bruh. I ain't gonna. A lot of Twitter hip hop. I just love everything. Hip hop. I love it. I love it all. Bruh, it's too much music out there. It's too much for me to lie and act like just so I can be in the club that I like something that I don't.
But again, Vern, I tell people this all the time.
Yeah,
we're living in a very lonely world right now, and people want to be part of a club. You know what I mean? It's easier to just say, I like Cormega than to argue with 2,800 Cormega people. You know, it's just easier to just say I like it. You know, it's kind of like, I know people who when I go out to lunch and I'm like, anybody want to eat lunch? Where you going? Subway? I'm not taking no fucking orders because I do not feel like being like extra sauce, no mayo. I'm not doing all that shit. Like, I'm just not. I don't take lunch orders to Chipotle. And it's kind of like, I know people who just go to Chipotle and just be like, just put everything on. Just makes it easy. And I'm like, nigga, you don't even like corn. It don't even matter. It takes too much time. So I think that there are people who just be like, I like everything. It's too much time. I don't want to argue. I don't want to ruffle no feathers. Just everybody's cool. Everybody's good. Everybody's a legend. This way, nobody has to throw no shots at me. Now, Ver, who's the person who's not a legend, but people say they are?
I failed at the assignment. I only got one, so I'm just let that marinate. Yeah,
that's good. Eddie, who you got?
All right, so the person and like I started saying, like if y'all don't feel like he's a legend, that's cool. I'm naming him as a legend because I think enough people in hip hop and all over claim him as one. But I'm not a fan is Lil Wayne.
Oh yeah, he's on my list. Yeah. I'm with you.
I don't get the hype. I feel like he's one of them MCs that did the Jedi mind trick. Like at some point, I don't know if it was in his mixtapes or in his albums, he started calling himself the best rapper alive. And I feel like everyone fell for it. They started dissecting his bar, which to me, I don't even see the hype. Like every other song he's talking about Wheezy F baby and the F is for something. The F is for phenomenal fallopian tubes, whatever. Yo, or you talk about I'm the shit. And what?
God, you chose violence today. I see. Okay.
Yeah, like to me, like I feel like he's one of them rappers like people try to overanalyze, and to me what he does is not that complicated, and I don't know, man. Like a song like, all right, a song of his I like, but after reviewing it, I'm like, I like it, but it ain't as dope as people make it seem. A Millie, I like it. You know, the simple beat is catchy. I like his flow. But what is he saying? It ain't that crazy dope to me. So yeah, that's why, like, all right, you know, people call him a legend and all that, cool. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying the hype on it.
We are just in sync today because you did this with 50, and I got Lil Wayne as somebody who people say he is a legend, and I don't think he is a legend because he doesn't check all the boxes for me. He's reminiscent of 50 Cent to me. Like, to me, everything I said about 50, I feel the same way about Lil Wayne. But I do think Wayne does have some crazy verses. I will say that. Wayne, I've heard Wayne on some features where I'm like, damn, that nigga is spitting. I like the Carter too. I just don't see the legendary status. And again, like I said with 50, because everybody tells me about his mixtapes. And then the other asterisk on Lil Wayne is the whole Gilly the Kid writing his rhymes. Like, it's hard for me to give you the legend status if there's been an asterisk on if you actually even write what you write. Like, to me, once that happens, you automatically go in the entertainment category. Like,
and if you're from Philly, you know he was at least helped with his rhymes, because he was saying stuff that only a Philly person would say. Nobody says the bull, but people in New Orleans. And he was saying that, and he's from freaking New Orleans. He was. If you can tell. It wasn't a coincidence that Gilly, Dutch, and Spade was signed to Cash Money at the time the Carter 1 dropped. He changed his whole flow from wobbly to he actually spit. So.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and to me, that's just the asterisk. That to me, that's just the final gavel of you. I don't even know what you wrote. So the second I find out you got a ghost producer, Kanye fell out my top 10. Second, I found out you ain't even write Jesus Walks. Like, Jesus Christ, nigga, that's your first song. Like, that's one of your first songs, and you ain't even write that. So that's the asterisk for that. So I'm with you on that.
And someone who I don't think is a legend. And you know, like I don't think y'all gonna kill me, but someone out there is gonna kill me. Is Drake? Like, I just don't like. I
got Drake on my list too.
That was on my list.
I feel like him being the most popular popularity doesn't equal like impact. Because what did he impact? Like he took his whole steez from Fonte, and actually has been taking his whole steez from other artists, right?
Again, that nigga's rogue. That nigga touches you and then steals your power.
And you know, like his albums are half and half. He's half singing, half right, which is cool. But yeah, I feel like him doing the whatever timestamp songs that people love. You know, him doing that once per album ain't enough, like to cement his legendary status.
He's a great artist.
Then you got the ghost, and then he got the ghost writing allegations. You know, he's like,
those ain't even allegations. Those are facts. Those are facts.
Right.
We're not even gonna give him that word. For me, it's him not writing his rhymes. He doesn't have a 5 mic classic album to me. Sings more than these raps, and again, I think he's a great entertainer. I think, you know, he will be like, he's like Sammy Davis of hip hop. Like, he will probably end up in Vegas doing a residency there. You know, he's an entertainer, but again, once, you know, I find out you don't write your raps, you know, it's a rap. Bro, who you got is gonna piss all of us off.
All right, so the legend that I ain't really like bang with like that, and I don't know if people on here think they're a legend, but I know this is a group. I know they were looked at as legends at one point. I don't know. I never was like really in a Dipset like that. I
not really, no.
You know, I like some of Cam's stuff, but like Joel's and Jimmy, like and they had it was a time where it was like a wave, like
they had a moment,
everything, and I was like,
man,
I wasn't a part of it, man. So.
You know, real. I said when the verses came out, I said, you see the difference between timeless songs and a moment in time. Dipset was a moment in time. Was a moment in time. Yep.
Good way to put it. Yeah. So I ain't really, you know, I wasn't really up on that. And so the person that I don't think is a legend, and I like this artist, you know what I'm saying? And this is a lot of, I remember we did the episode about the best people from Queens, right? And somebody was like, yo, if this person ain't in your top 3, then you something. I'm like, well, I guess I'm that person.
Don't never started like that with me.
Right. I don't think Pharoah Monch is a legend.
I mean, I ain't mad at
I respectfully disagree, but
yeah, I mean, I'm not mad at it, bro.
I'm not mad at that either.
So look at what makes Pharoah Monch a legend.
All right, let's see if he checks the box. Okay, boom, nice as hell. Pharoah is a 4.5, if not a 5 mic MC. Every time I hear that nigga spit, I just some of his shit from Desire, Pharoah. I'm the Mnemonic minus the A&R. I mean, he bars you to death to me. He's got that. He has at least one classic album. I think the OG album. Hold on. Let's pull out Pharoah.
Man, y'all better be glad Portia ain't on this show today.
I think Internal Affairs. I got this being a classic. I got Desire being a classic. War is not a classic. It's very damn good. And PTSD was very damn good. So he has the classic. Changed the climate of hip hop as far as a new rhyme style. Well, let's just say many people say Eminem is the best hip hop artist ever. That's Pharoah. That's the white Pharoah Monch. Longevity. Let's see. I heard Fudge Pudge when I was in 12th grade, and PTS. Oh well, fuck. What did I just get in the mail the other day? This shit just came out this year. So I would have to say, from the time of me being 17 and now being 48, he's still making music. That's a good ass longevity, and has their own style. Like I said, Eminem just bit his style. So for me, he just checked every single box on my personal list. Again, that's just me. Not that that has to be everybody's list, but he
and you know what I will add also, to the impact of, this goes to one of the other shows when Rel was explaining the different parts of speech, what Pharaoh Monch did with, different rhyme schemes with the Stray Bullet and the whole series with that, storytelling concept.
And how many people have bit the whole Stray Bullet thing? I mean, Nas bit it. I mean, just doing that alone, that's the impact. Shit, y'all favorite MC just bit Monch's stuff. So, I mean, again, I'm not mad at it, but he checks all my boxes, though.
All right, for me, I think he's nice. I just think he's nice. He's a nice MC. Like, I just think he raps really well. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like, as far as albums he's been involved in, I like Equinox a lot. And I like that first solo joint. I didn't think all of those albums were like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but that, I mean, that's different people's opinion. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you. Like I said, I'm not mad at it.
It's like if like, you know what I'm saying, he's a legend to me. If he's a legend, then Razzcast is a legend. You know what I'm saying? Like, lyrically.
Now you habitual line stuff.
You know
God damn, do Razzcast even have one good album out?
I'll put it to you like this, and this is my opinion. Razzcast has an album I can listen to and go back to, and all the beats are terrible. But
hold up,
no,
you said
for
Razzcast has an album you can go back to and all the beats are terrible?
I listen to Soul on Ice, but all the beats are trash. Almost all of them. But he's spitting on like his lyrics hold me to listen to it, and that's very rare because those beats are most of them, like 85% of the beats on that album is like not good. You know what I'm saying?
He's real bland.
Yeah, see, I guess for me the thing is the beats is half of the test. You know what I mean? So if you can't have a 5 mic album, for me, if the beats are trash, you know what I mean? So if you tell me the best album, the beats are trash, that's like
I'm saying it's a testament to how good of a MC he is, because he was able to hold my attention with the beats being that bad. Now, I'm not saying he's a legend either, but what I'm saying is I don't think Pharoah, I think to a certain demographic of people, Monch gets overrated. He's not overrated, but he gets overrated by certain people to me.
So you didn't like none of Monch's albums?
No, I did. It's just not as much as everyone else. You know what I'm saying? Like, I did like them, and I think he is super nice, but it kind of, what made me make it come to my mind is when we did the Queen show, and it was like, if you know what I'm saying, if people came at me, if this person ain't in the top 3, then I can't even listen to you. And I'm like, he ain't in my top 3 from Queens. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like him, but he's just not in it. You know what I'm saying? And, so that was my pick. And I preface it by saying it's definitely not a diss. He's super nice. I just don't think he's a legend. And that's just my opinion.
I mean, I'm not mad at someone saying he's not in the top 3 from Queens, because Queens, like, you got LL Cool J, right there. You got, Run DMC. You got some, you got some heavy hitters from Queens. So I'm not mad at that. I play Pharoah Monch at high esteem. I mean, but I can't tell you, I can't tell you who you think is a legend. So yeah.
The next person I got up, we've been here a while, so I'm gonna just go through the rest of these. I got Too Short and Master P as legends, who I don't necessarily feel. The only person I had left over this was J. Cole. I don't see him being a legend. I see him being a very dope MC, but I just don't see the legendary status that people put on Cole. So that's it for me. Yeah, True, you got left, bro.
Oh, all right. So this is a bona fide legend. Matter of fact, I would like to hang out with this dude if I ever met him. Like he is a great person, a legend, but I do not listen to his music. Ice-T.
And
Mm-hmm.
if most people were honest, they would say the same.
Yeah.
Ice-T. And
Now let me ask you a question, just real quick. I
Yeah.
don't want to hold everybody. He checks all the boxes for legends. Nice as hell, lyrically.
Well, for his time, yes. For his time,
Tommy was pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, he was pre NWA, and he brought about.
Yeah, he won the on One Source album. Almost got in a fight with the dude from LA over this. He was the best rapper of the year that year. It had to be 92. Yeah, it's crazy, but young and dumb. But
And to me, if there's no Ice-T, there's no NWA. To me,
He was good in his time. That OG
Yeah,
album was dope.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so lyrically, he's 4 mics or better. And again, this is I'm just going off my check.
in 88, yes. Or whenever.
Jesus Christ, Ice-T was better than Ice Cube because Straight Outta Compton was 88. So
Oh, it was.
yeah, Straight Outta Compton was 88. That was my freshman year in high school.
Well, but no, it was before then. Because I 6 in the morning was early 80s, maybe.
Right.
One
All
was like 86, 85, 86, 87.
Okay.
right. So I'm with you. Ice-T, I can see that. I can see him being a legend.
So a person that they call a legend that I do not think is a legend, Jay Electronica.
Okay,
Nigga,
yeah.
You had one good song, bro.
Yep, yes, I'm with you. I got him.
Much as I like Jay Elect, man.
I got him on the list. Yep.
I'm sorry.
Calling him a legend
That-
almost
that's-
common.
That's blasphemous. The other artists that are legends. I'm sorry.
To me, that's prisoner of the moment stuff.
Yeah,
Because
I
here's the
agree.
thing, I remember Exhibit C. It was December of 2009. Like I remember that vividly, how crazy the internet was going over Exhibit C. It's an incredible song, but to then wait until what 2020 to get the album? You waited 11 years to get an album, and it's basically a Jay Electronica album. And Jay basically bodies Jay Elect on it, but he's still a legend. I mean, I can't. Again, he don't check none of the boxes.
Oh, what's the
For me.
difference?
I mean, bro, that's that golden backpack syndrome. It's like, don't tell me about Exhibit Q.
You just say golden
Backpack. Damn. he
Yeah.
got the
Yo, bro,
truth.
break this down for me, man. What is the golden backpack syndrome?
You have this inner circle of Master Yoda disciples who have heard Exhibit Q that nobody else has, and they want to like anoint him. Like you can't name 10 songs. So what are you talking about, bruh?
Golden backpacks.
And you want
Yo, we are out here. Yo, give credit where credit is due, y'all. If y'all say Bartition, I want that copyright next to Kill. The golden backpack syndrome. Yo, y'all better copyright Burn.
Yeah,
when
man.
y'all use that.
you want to make yourself sound like you so much more knowledgeable than the other hip hoppers, and so you anoint this dude, and you can't even name 10 songs, bruh.
And they're out there because I went to a Jay Electronica concert in Philly at Union Transfer, and I was trying to figure out, this is right after we won the Super Bowl, how he's going to do a concert. but it was a really good concert. Like, he killed it, but there was some stuff
So, but what did he do? Now you got me intrigued. What did
Okay,
he
so
do?
I was about to get to that. It was some stuff. He did a lot of stuff that all the people in there knew that some of it I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Like the what was the one where he took the whole movie soundtrack and rapped over it?
Don't
Oh,
give me
the
no
Eternal
lie.
Mind of the
He did some. Yeah, he did some of that. He did some some obscure mixtape
Eternal
stuff.
Sunshine.
Of course, he did Exhibit A and Exhibit C, and he did 2 songs that was on the album that came out. But it was a lot of stuff that, like, it was some diehard Jay Electronica fans. They knew it, and I was next to my girl at the time. Like, I don't know what this
Right.
is, but it sounds cool. You know what I'm saying? He did a good job for. It was a good concert actually for what he had, but that just goes to add on to what Vern was saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got these people that just have this stuff, and I haven't heard it. Nobody heard it. You heard it, so you anoint him. You know what I'm saying? But no, he's not. And I like him, but he's not.
He can rap. He can rap for sure.
I feel you. So who you got left, bro? Oh, Gadget, you have anybody else on your list just to run through?
Honorable mention. I'm gonna get killed for this. MF Doom.
That was on my list.
Well, you're gonna get killed just because
you think he's not a legend, or you don't like him?
I think people anointed him a legend after he died. I don't think people called him a legend when he was alive.
I
don't know. I just know that there's a whole lot of MF Doom. There's a lot of Doomites out there. I don't know if they called him a legend, but I've never seen the hype. I won't say he's a legend. I don't think he's a legend. I just don't. I don't see the hype. Like the other day that I said this online, I need y'all people on Twitter, like, look at me. Stop changing y'all profile pic all the time because I don't know who the fuck I'm talking to. Like there's so many MF Doom people. I was having a conversation with somebody on Twitter and I thought I was talking to somebody else because keep in mind, y'all, I haven't met y'all in person. So all I can go by is your profile pic. So if you keep, it's like if there was 50 tones in the mall. Like, and I don't know what tone I'm talking to. Like, I'm like, hey, Tone, no, I'm not Tone. Like, that's how it is. So, and I asked, like, yo, how many people have MF Doom as their profile pic? Like, I'm not taking shots. I'm just saying, God damn, it's like a billion of y'all out here. And again, it goes back to 50. I just don't know. He didn't get this love with KMD. So I just need a Doomite to explain to me, like, where did the love come from? Because it wasn't there with KMD. And it came with the mask. So what happened?
Well, I'm
real big fan base, bro.
Huge fan.
I'm not necessarily a Doomite. Like I like a few of his projects. You know what I mean? I'm not a super fan, but what he did was he tapped into a certain listener. Like he tapped into the nerds, but he was still lyrical. Like he had a lot of comic book references. He had a lot of, nerdy kind of references. Like he used, like on his first album, he used the theme song for that Spider-Man TV show throughout. Like that was a prevalent thing. Like the samples from Dr. Doom and all of them talking about it. And Fantastic Four, he used Scooby-Doo sample on one of his joints. I mean, so he kind of did all these things and gave kind of little references and nods to the nerds, and I think they appreciated that.
That's a great point, Eddie. It goes back to knowing your audience. These are the things that intrigue me because it's like, this is no shot. How did MF Doom become a legend, but AZ didn't? Like these are the things that I'm like I agree with you, Eddie. He grabbed. What'd you say?
Fan base.
Right, but like, how did MF Doom know I'm grabbing these nerds, or did he just do it and nerds gravitated to him? Because MF Doom, I don't think probably ever had a real record label, so he's not got no A&R. Like, hey, we got to tap into these nerds. Like, did he just do it? I'm just always intrigued by that. Like, how did that happen? Like, you'll have somebody who's super obscure, like Sadat X, who I love, but really, and he's super obscure, but then you got MF Doom, who is super obscure too, but how come Doom wins and Sadat doesn't? Like, I'm just always intrigued at how did that happen? Same thing with Run the Jewels. It's like Killer Mike wasn't really no big person when he was under Outkast, and the other white boy, I think he was in that other group. Now, what group is he with? I'm not even a big fan. No, he's in another group. Who the white dude from Run the Jewels? What group is he in?
Def Jux.
No, he was running the Def Jux, but
he was in a group.
Wasn't that the name of the group?
They did nah. They did the Funk Crusher Plus album. What's the name of the group?
But here's the thing. This is a prime example. We got 6 hip hop heads and everybody shaking their head like we don't fucking know. But then they make Run the Jewels, and Run the Jewels is one of the biggest groups in the world now. Like, how does that work? How do you go from being a white dude who none of us know, and Killer Mike, who was just under Outkast and had that verse on that Scooby-Doo whole
He was
world.
a Company Flow.
Company Flow. There you go. Company Flow. But so you don't blow up in Company Flow, you don't blow up with Outkast and the Dungeon Family, but then y'all blow up together. How? house way. Like that's the shit that is so intriguing to me.
Lightning in the
How
bottle.
did you do it?
Yeah, I think with LP and them, like if I remember, like the first Run the Jewels, they dropped it for free. Like it wasn't a mixtape; it was a full album. They dropped it for free. Like they already kind of had their names, like they were known, like they had their own fan bases. But and I think the sound being different and the combination, but they dropped it for free. So they were like, all right, you know, everyone listen.
And everyone could drop an album for free. AZ could drop an album for free. All these people drop albums for free. So I'm just intrigued that you are under Outkast and the Dungeon Family and you can't blow. You're over here with Company Flow and you're stuck in an underground white boy hip hop head and you can't blow. But then you two come together and y'all are like selling out festivals. Run the Jewels can do a festival, and I'm just like, houseway. And I know we don't have the answers, but this just intrigues me so much because it's like, how did y'all do that?
With MF Doom, he proves a point that I've always made. It's more nerds than it is drug dealers in rap and hip hop. I mean, Fonte said that. Most niggas got a 9-to-5 job than they're out flipping birds, contrary to what they try to tell you in hip hop. And so more people embrace their inner nerd, and he found that market and just tapped in and went hard body with it.
And they love
right. And maybe it is the mask too. Maybe it is the MF. Maybe it's the mask because it's like, oh, you're Dr. Doom, so you're right. All the comic book heads.
Yep.
Salute, bro.
Yeah, that's true. Great job, Ed. So, what you got left, bro? Oh, what you got?
When I said MF Doom, I didn't mean he's not a legend. I meant he was a legend that I really don't listen to.
Don't rock with their music. Okay, cool. No doubt. Gadget cleared that shit up real quick, fast.
I sure did.
All caps.
Right. So who you got left, bro?
Man, I love this dude, Big Savvy, man. He's a good dude, man. But Master P, bro. Yeah, he got some big singles and all that. I give you that. I don't own no Master P, man. Maybe Ghetto D back in the day. You know what I'm saying? But, and I respect what he did for the South, but I'm not rocking hard Master P.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's definitely a legend. I don't rock with his music like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, to that degree. You know what I'm saying? And then the other one, I guess you could call them legends, but I don't like their music like that. 3 6 Mafia. You know what I'm saying? I don't fuck 3 6 Mafia. You know what I'm saying? But some people call them legends. I ain't mad at that. You know what I'm saying? But I don't rock with it.
The only joint I love from 3 6 Mafia, I Get High. That joint,
fly.
Yeah, whichever joint that was.
That was a smash.
That was a banger right there. Bro, who you got left, man?
Dude, y'all, I'm gonna be banned from Louisiana because I'm Master P, J Electronic, and Wayne. I mean, y'all named one. Master P can't rap. Master P can't rap. Lie to me and tell me he can.
He can.
You lying. He's a great businessman, but I'm not buying his record to listen to his business acumen. Well, he's a businessman. I'll put it there.
Well, I don't want to belabor this, but then is he a legend? He can't rap, no classic albums. I mean, he's a legendary businessman.
For a lot of his fans, he got classics.
Yeah.
For them.
Right.
Yeah,
everything label shit. Oh no, he a legend.
Nail trying to yet's gonna come for me, but hey, it is what it is, man. And then I'm gonna say this guy. I suppose he's a legend, but you ain't never heard me say, "Hey, man, throw on that Eminem, man."
Bro, you gonna get banned from Twitter, dog.
Come from. I'm 49.
He took mine.
I'm 49. I don't care.
He took mine, yo.
I'm a legend.
Here's the thing, man.
I just said he's a legend, but you ain't never heard me say, man, put on that one. Nope.
Yep. Here's the thing, Vern. Like, you know, his stuff. Like when you get older, his old stuff. Like people swear by his old stuff. His old stuff is cringeworthy, man. Like, you know, he's talking about things that is like in this culture right now. You know, the cancel culture. Come on, man. And I know that was his shtick. His shtick is like saying things to piss people off, but Like, it don't even sound good to me now. Like, I mean, the one album I think is a classic, Marshall Mathers LP, whatever. But all that other stuff, that D12 stuff was cringeworthy too, man.
Yeah, and I mean, and his voice, bruh, get away.
Yes.
Get away from me. And I left one out. Speaking of voices, I don't know if people consider him a legend, but Talib Kweli, I can't do him, but I can't do rock him, man.
I don't think anybody should consider Talib Kweli a legend.
Okay, well then take him out.
I don't think he's a top 50 rapper.
I don't know about Talib being a. I'm blessed that I've never heard anybody say Talib.
Yeah, that might be me just dissing. So you can scratch that out of the show.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. Ed, you got anybody left, man?
Yeah, Vern said a couple of mine. I had Eminem. Liv was one I was kind of teetering on saying, but I don't think he's a bona fide legend. But then the ones that the other ones I don't think are legends that people do call legends. I think we touched on Ja Rule. I don't know. I don't know if he's a legend, man. I don't think so.
Eddie, you ain't got to stutter on that, bro. He had a lot of hits. He had a lot of hits. He ain't no legend.
Yeah, the other ones that people call a legend, Nicki Minaj, like she's one of the ones that is kind of like,
you know what? I'm going on Twitter and I'm thanking God for my timeline because I have never seen anybody ever say Nicki Minaj is a legend. That's so
man. I'm surprised. To me, to me, it's kind of like. It's kind of like the amount of female MCs that get to have the spotlight. I think for that reason, people place the females that are in the spotlight into legendary status because like, oh, you're the top female rapper. But for me, it's like, nah. Like she took number one, she took a lot from Lil Kim. Like she did a lot of the singing melodic stuff. And then she wasn't even writing her own stuff. So now for me, and then Atmosphere, like I know they have a cult following. A lot of people.
I apologize. Who's Atmosphere?
MC called Slug, and I forgot the producer.
I'm gonna have to
like they have a strong cult following. Like to me, it's.
I'm like, I'm at the Atmosphere. You mean fucking space, nigga? Like, I don't know what you talking. Atmosphere. Who was that?
Me.
Who they run with?
They I think they had their own label. What's their label?
Where they from?
We wouldn't know, Eddie. Yeah, like, where they from?
Yeah.
This how it be when niggas be like, yo, did you know my cousin at Morgan who he ran with? I know people about who you ran with, where they from, what city they from, who they run with. Like, I've never even heard of Atmosphere, so I'm not mad to be mad at anything you say because I've never even heard of them. So
their stuff is like super depressing music. It's like the melancholy, depressing stuff. Nah, not for me.
This is like the dude about Jedi Montrix. He was like, "Yo, how you like Jedi Montrix out of Philly? How about I didn't know they were from Philly? We can start right there and then." So that's does not make them a Philly legend to me because I'm from Philly and I didn't even know they was fucking from Philly. So there you go on their Philly legendary status. Rel, who you got left, bro?
The legends that y'all named all mine. The legends that I don't really rock with. As far as people that. Somebody that people say is a legend that I don't think are legends. Anybody that came out after 2010.
Okay, I ain't mad at that. That's a great way to end the show, man.
Everybody that came out in 2010 is not yet a legend. Even if you had a strong run, you had one classic album, maybe, like, you're not a legend yet to me. So
now, I love it, but I gotta ask. So how long of a time are you giving them? Because we're in 2021, so it's been 11 years. Is that
So
enough time?
It's not.
Is that
it's
enough
not-
time? If I drop 5 albums in 11 years and they're all classics, so what is your time frame for how long until you can be a legend?
I don't have a time frame because it kind of. I don't have a time frame. It just it's your body of work isolated to your career. So like somebody like Kendrick, right? Like he could probably be there because he has a classic to me, and then he has like a 4 and a 4.5. You know what I'm saying? That's a good.
Right.
But I'm still waiting for him to put something else out, which was like holding me back from him. You know what I'm saying? So it's not more so a time thing. It's more so what did you do in that time? You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
So it's like it's isolated for different MCs. You know what I'm saying? But I'm
Right.
thinking about everybody that came out after 2010. There's not one I can just full 100% give that title to. Yeah,
Right. I know what you're saying. Kendrick is creeping up in my top 10, but I need to hear one more album. So I
exactly.
agree with you.
That's where I'm at with that. That's where I'm at with that. Yeah.
I agree with you 100% on that. Again, everybody, not that we hate these people, just our opinions. Get your answer sheet out. That's my challenge to everybody. You come up with a legend who you think is a legend. You write down the 3 to 5 things that make them legendary. And when you want to call somebody a legend, go back to your answer sheet, put it on your phone under your notes, put it on a piece of paper, go back and really ask yourself, because you may see that somebody isn't a legend. Like Burns said, Common wasn't a legend. By the time I'm talking about Black Thought, he's like, nah, he is. You know what I mean? You may change your mind one way, you may change your mind another way. But again, I know on Twitter, trust me, I know this is a fact. Y'all mofos don't have no answer key, nowhere around. Y'all just talk however you feel that moment right there. Okay, West Side Gun about to be a legend tonight at midnight. You know what I mean?
Right.
So again, y'all don't have an answer key. My challenge is you got to get an answer key to grade that test. So before you can't grade the test without knowing what the answers are, and they could be your answers. They're yours. I'm not saying to take my answers, take your own, but yes, sir.
Someone going to tell you West Side Gun's a legend because he got 15 classic albums.
And that's what I was going to say. My English professor at Georgia State freshman year, she said if diamonds grew on trees, they would not be valuable. That's how an A is in my class. Again, she was a jerk, a racist jerk at that. But she had some validity to what she was saying. Man, y'all, that album that he gonna put out 2 weeks from now is already a classic. Nigga, you ain't heard it. And you ain't gonna talk about it 2 weeks after that. So how is it a classic? But the bar is like limbo level these days, so whatever.
The bar is low, but there's also, again, I think the younger generation who've been getting trophies their whole life. You know what I mean? So it just comes back to, I saw this when Jay-Z came out with the Magna Carta album, and he had the commercial during the NBA Finals. And people were on Twitter like, oh, that album's a classic. He's in the studio with Rick Rubin and Timbaland and Pharrell. It's a classic. I'm on iTunes. They're like, people are reviewing the album that hasn't even come out yet. It's already a classic. You know what I mean? So again, this is the stand phenomenon. Somebody said that to me the other day. They was like, yeah, Kel, I really think I'll become a such and such stand. And I said, well, then stop. Stop right now and become a fan, because that's what we need. We need fans. A fan is somebody who's going to tell you, it's, bro, me and you just talked about the other day on the phone. You need people in your life who tell you your shit stink.
Nah, nigga. Fonte said everybody need a nah-nigga committee. Hey, nah, nigga.
Like,
nah.
You need somebody, and that's the problem. I told the boy, like, don't be a stan. That is not something to be proud of.
No,
you know what I mean? Be a fan where you can say, I love Griselda. The last West Side Gun album I really liked was Supreme Clientele. And that may have been 4 years ago. You know, he may have put out 7 more albums since then. You know what I mean? But I'm never going to stand for no nigga but Jesus to just be like, oh, you don't do nothing wrong. Like, oh, well, you like Griselda, well, then everything got to be 5 mics. Like, no, nigga, everything don't got to be 5 mics. No, I don't like Benny's The Plugs I Met Part 2. I don't like that shit at all. You know what I mean?
Hey, Kel, I gotta bounce real quick. I gotta handle something. But
no. Handle your business. Some way to get at you real quick, man.
Digital. I don't even want to give out my Twitter.
All right, don't even give out nothing. Just be incognito this week. Be Mr. Incognito this week.
No, add digital hustler on all streaming platforms, all social media platforms.
All right, brother. I'll rap with you, man. Thank you for
All
your
right.
time. I know I've held everybody captive tonight. So, Vern, give him everything, good brother.
On Twitter at Enter the Dome.
He like, yeah, point him in that direction. This nigga right here. This nigga right here.
No, at B Chandler 10 and on Instagram, B the Loan Closer.
Eddie, let them know where they can get at you, good brother.
Yo, catch me on Twitter at EddieD80, Instagram freestyles, freestyle.com. I want to also point out what I'm rocking. So I talked about one of the albums that was on my top list for the first half of the year. That's Del P. So this is one of his shirts, that I got, from his little imprint, his label. So you know what I mean. You gotta support the people that you mess with. Support the artists, especially when they're independent. You know what I mean. So yeah, freestyles.com.
No doubt. Rel, give him everything, good brother.
Uptown J Ben on the gram, JBen215 on Twitter. New shirts coming Monday.
Yeah.
And I'll break it down for y'all on Twitter, what it's about.
There you go. Tone, give him everything, good brother.
Just Tony Hang the Dome, man. Twitter. That's where you'll find me.
And as always, Apartment 5B sponsored by So What's the Scenario Game. Definitely go out and get this. SoWhatGames.com. Use the promo code Apartment 5B. Great game, fun game. Gonna start arguments, gonna start debates, but it's definitely a fun game. We gotta get another game night going up on here with this.
Yes,
also,
sir.
Kill 889 Twitter, IG. We'll make beats for food. Again, y'all, I challenge everybody. Come up with your answer sheet and start really put some meat behind what you talk about. You know what I mean? Because I'm always open to have a dope discussion on Twitter about this. Not a debate. If you think Thought's a legend, God bless you. Be honest, I don't give a fuck what y'all think. Y'all can think you're a legend, y'all can think you're not a legend. I'm gonna just keep it a buck with y'all. Like, I don't feel like arguing with y'all. Like, but if you want to have a discussion, like, well, Kill, didn't you think this or this? I'm always down to discuss it. I love Twitter for that, for the discussions, not the debates. So if you think anybody we said was a legend isn't, or vice versa, whatever it is, yo, it is what it is. Yo, music speaks to us all differently, and that's what it's supposed to do. If we all like the same people and didn't all like the same people, the game will be whack. You know what I mean? So just keep that in mind. I will check y'all next week, y'all.